Alright, this is going to be a commentated run of Metal Gear Rising Revengeance on Revengeance difficulty. It's going to be a S rank run doing the levels single segment. So when I say I'm doing the levels single segment, I don't mean that I'm going to be starting the game from the very beginning and playing all the way through to the end in one uncut go. That's kind of insane. Some of these levels are really, really hard, and to be expected to play every single one of them back to back to back to back and get a perfect rank without any checkpoints would be crazy. So when I say the level is single segment, I mean that I'm going to be starting every level from the mission select screen, and I'm not going to be using checkpoints. Every level has checkpoints in it before and after fights, and the way the game works is that you can reload those checkpoints at any time to redo fights, but reloading checkpoints doesn't it will also reset your rank. So if you beat a fight and you got an A rank in it, you can just load your checkpoint before the ranking screen disappears for that fight, and then go back and just keep doing the fight until you get an S rank. And you can just do this through the entire mission until you get all S's, and then beat the mission and be like, yeah, I S ranked that mission. But it really, that kind of seems like, you know, a kind of cheap way to get an S rank. Like when you can just do every single fight individually, and every single fight you start over with like full blade mode or ripper mode and whatnot. You know, it seems a bit cheap. So I wanted to challenge myself to do a single segmented run, because something I noticed is, well, I'll tell you what I noticed in a second. I'm going to be talking over this mission basically just because it's the introduction mission and there's not too much to say about it. There's only 2 ranked fights here, and they're against Metal Gear Ray. Really, just take no damage against him and you'll basically get the S rank. Not a huge problem. And the reason I don't cut those guns after parrying his head is because you still get damage without cutting the guns. So you can get a bit of extra damage on him and without removing those guns, and he'll keep doing the headbutt attack later in the fight. Anyway, so the reason I wanted to do a single segment run of this game is because I noticed when I was looking for videos for this game online, almost no one out there does their runs single segmented. They all use checkpoints. And some people are really transparent about it, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like a guy who I like watching his game videos, Big Benedict, he did a run for this game like 10 years ago, and he makes it very clear in his guide that he's using checkpoints to cut out a lot of the filler, and he's editing the video to cut out a lot of the filler, and he's using checkpoints to keep restarting fights until he gets a good fight, and then he moves on to the next fight. He's very transparent about the fact that he's doing that. He doesn't try to hide it. But I've seen a lot of runs, actually, that are edited very, very carefully in such a way that it makes them look single segment. And though the runners never claim that it's a single segment run, so, you know, it's not like they're going around going, yes, I've beaten this game single segment, like they're trying to, like, you know, do so. But it's very clear that they want it to look single segment. And one of the ones I noticed was a no damage full S rank run. And I thought, wow, that's got to be crazy. This guy's got to be insanely good to do no damage full S rank for every mission in this game, because there's, as you'll see going forward, you can still S rank a fight without with taking damage during the fight. So and there's a lot of fights in the game where it throws chip damage at you, and the game understands how difficult it would be to beat it without an S rank, or beat it without damage. So it kind of, it gives you another way to, you know, S rank the fight even if you did take damage, assuming you can max out the requirements, the 5 other requirements of the fight. So I was watching this guy's video, and I noticed, I was like, this guy's got to be insanely good. Like, because I'm sitting here trying to do single segments, but he's doing no damage. Is this checkpointed? He doesn't say it's checkpointed, so I watched the video, and I'm starting to notice, oh man, this looks like it's not a checkpointed run. This looks like it's single segment. But then a few things kind of started, like, feeling off to me. I noticed that, like, after certain fights, he would just go and, like, stand next to a wall for a second and stand there for, like, 2 seconds and then move. Or he would, like, always, after certain fights, line his camera up in a certain way and then move. And I was like, okay, maybe he's just, like, checking his phone or something. Because I spent, spoiler, I spent, like, 10 hours practicing the Sundowner mission to get that thing done single segment. So I was thinking, you know, when you've done a mission a lot of times, you probably kind of start zoning out and checking out at some points of the mission. And I've done that before, where I'm just, like, checking my phone or something. So I thought maybe he was doing that, but I was really, really, really trying to see, like, is this single segment? I was looking, I was like, looking for something to be mad about. I was sitting here scrutinizing every aspect of his video. Is this single segment? Is this not? And when we got to the point of the elevator fight in the Sundowner level 1, I noticed that there was a slight cut where the background didn't line up and it was kind of moving. And it skipped. And I was thinking to myself at first, okay, yeah, you know, that's a cut. But then I thought, but you know, maybe let's give him the benefit of the doubt. It wasn't a cut, and maybe his like recording software just skipped a frame. You know, the background's moving really fast, a lot of shit's on fire. Maybe he doesn't have the greatest computer of all time. Maybe it skipped a frame. You know, maybe it stuttered for a second. But then I noticed something really small, and it's that on the elevator fight, there's a hammer cyborg that drops down. And when you reload the checkpoint, there's a music cue that starts when this fight starts, like some drums. It goes bump, 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 bump. And when the hammer cyborg drops, it hits the ground the second the drum beat starts. And I always thought, like, oh, that's a really good touch. But I noticed, because when you've played through the level for 10 hours, you start to notice weird, stupid, small things. I noticed that when you reload the checkpoint for that run, the drum beat resets. Or the drum beat happens right when the guy comes into the fight. But when it's a single segmented run, Doctor talks to you at a slightly different moment when the elevator is going up, so the fight starts at a different time. And because I did this run like a month ago, and I've just been too lazy to do the commentary over it, I can't remember if it's before or after, but when the guy drops, it's a little bit off sync of the drum beat. And I played through the level enough times paying attention to this to see, is it the same or is it not? And I did notice that whenever you single segment it, the guy drops at a different time the drum beat starts, but when you reload the checkpoint, the guy always drops exactly when the drum beat starts. Watching this guy's video, I see the guy drops at the exact time the drum beat starts. So small shit like that, and he almost got me. He pulled it off. And, you know, in that video made me like, okay, now I've got to do a single segment run, because there's all these people, and I'm not throwing shade at people doing like challenge runs and stuff. There's a really fantastic video. I can't remember the guy who made it right now, but I'll link him in the description of this video. Who did a wooden sword only run of this game, and it's really impressive, and it's a fantastic run, but it's so difficult that, like, no one is, like, yeah, he used checkpoints, no shit, it's fucking ridiculous. So I'm not throwing shade at people who are doing, like, challenge runs and stuff like that, but there are enough people out there who have runs of this game online where they don't claim it's single segment, but they edit it to try to make it look single segment. And it's not single segment. And it's a win-win for them, right? Because people who aren't as autistic as me and who haven't done super, like, who haven't played this game a lot, they probably look at it and go, oh my god, this guy's really good. No damage, full S ranks. But, and if you are the kind of person that has played this game a shit ton and done your own runs, you're probably not running around looking at other people's runs and scrutinizing them, you know, too much, because you're playing your own run. You got better things to think about, right? But yeah, so that was kind of the impetus for me wanting to do this run, was noticing that there's really not, I couldn't find, at least, maybe there's one or two out there, but I could not find any runs of this game where the levels were done single segment. And of the few I found where the levels were done single segment, they were always using a wig, or like the Fox Blade. And for those who don't know, the wig basically gives you unlimited energy or unlimited sub-weapon ammo, and the Fox Blade is a blade that basically makes it so you're like always in Ripper mode, basically. It's just incredibly powerful, just cuts everything up. So, and I thought, like, you know, that's kind of cheating, isn't it? Like, I mean, and the argument people always throw you is, well, the game lets you do it. The game lets you load checkpoints. The game lets you use the wig and still get S ranks. The game lets you use the Fox Blade and still get S ranks. Like, yeah, it does, but that kind of goes against the spirit, doesn't it? Like, I kind of feel like it would have been cool if when you reloaded a checkpoint, or if you use certain items, the game would still give you your S, but it would give you like a silver S instead of a golden S. And then it's like, you know, if you beat the level without using checkpoints or whatever, you get a golden S, but if you use checkpoints or you use certain items that give you like unlimited resources, you get like a silver S, you know, kind of like, so that it's you know, beating these levels in one go is a more distinguishable feat than just technically doing it like the game says. But anyway, yeah, so I've got not a chip on my shoulder necessarily, but after seeing so many people do runs of this game that claim that they're like, oh, Revengeance S rank runs, and then they're like just clearly abusing checkpoints to redo every fight until they get it, it's like, I don't know, that kind of feels a bit cheap to me. Like, when you start to play this game single segmented, you start to realize, like, you start to have to kind of route the game like it's a shmup. Like, if you've ever played a game like Touhou or something, when you start playing on higher difficulties, you need to be in certain parts of the map at certain times. You need to be prepared to deal with certain attacks in certain ways. You need to learn how to, like, route levels and have an idea of what you're going to do before you even get there in the first place. And you have to start doing that when you play this game in a single segment, because you can't just restart every fight with full resources anymore. So, I'm going to be doing this run, Revengeance difficulty, single segmented, no wigs. I'm not going to be using the Muramasa Blade. It's New Game Plus, so I will have fully upgraded equipment. I will be using, like, the Sundowner Scissors, the Monsoon Sai, but I'm using Raiden's default HF Blade. I don't use any sword other than Raiden's default HF Blade. It's my primary. I do use sub-items like smoke grenades and stuff, but I never use more than I would have had if I wasn't collecting them. And I'll pause before the next mission starts so I can explain what I mean with that, because the next mission starts off fast with a fight immediately. So when I say I never use more items than I would have access to, in New Game Plus, when you start out with maxed out sub-items, five of everything. If I wanted to, I could just go into every fight, in every mission, in every fight that's problematic, just chain smoke grenades, and then go farm smoke grenades up and come back to the mission again. But I don't do that. I make very sure that the items I use in this game, or in this run, are items that I would have had running a New Game Plus run, and that I don't overuse them. So I start the run with 5 smoke grenades, and I also collect smoke grenades as the run goes on. And I never use more smoke grenades than I would have had if I didn't technically go to like farm for smoke grenades or something. Because when you're redoing these levels, naturally the item amount you'll have will fluctuate because it'll carry over between levels. So you'll see some levels I start off with 5 smoke grenades, and then some I start off with 1 because like I was just like experimenting on the practice runs and stuff like that. So, but I have gone through and I have counted, and I never use more smoke grenades than I collect or would have started with base. So I'm not also being like, oh, I've technically cheesed the level by like spamming use items. Like, no, neither that. I wanted to make very sure that this was a clean, single segment, default loadout, New Game Plus, so maxed out stats, New Game Plus Revengeance run. And I feel like I've done that. The early levels are a bit embarrassing, I feel like, because I spent a long time doing this run, so I've definitely improved in my play a lot. So the first like 3 missions, looking back on them, are super embarrassing, but because I spent so long in the Sundowner mission, I got like notably exponentially better between the Monsoon mission and the Sundowner mission, and it'll be an interesting change. So if you remember to keep an eye out for that, and I'll probably comment on it again, because there was a part of me that wanted to go back and redo these first 3 missions, because it's like, oh, I could have done them so much better now. I look like such shit, but in a way, you know, maybe it's inspiring that, like, you can still play as bad as I do in these early missions and get the S rank. So, you know, it's all just practice that you have to work up to. But anyway, I've done enough rambling. Let's start off the run proper on the first non-tutorial mission. I had to take a sip. I gotta stay hydrated, you know? Well, I've got a beer, but anyway, so the mission's immediately gonna start out with a fight right here up on these stairs. It's a really simple fight, but I'll talk about how fights are graded now. There are 5 things that go into getting your S rank on a fight. There is the time limit, so if you have a low enough time, you get 1,000 points max for that. For the most part, there will be exceptions to this. The next one is going to be battle points. Battle points are just things you get from doing things like Zandatsus. That right there is a Zandatsu. When you rip their spine out and then you get all your energy back, that's a Zandatsu. You'll get battle points for collecting the fallen range of enemies, for doing combo, for cutting enemies into a bunch of pieces. You get BP from like pretty much anything. And I'll actually go back right there, and I'll pause it so you can see kind of the different scoring things we have. So after BP, then we have combo. Oh, I'll pause it. It's a bit blurry, but then we have Zandatsu as the middle one. Zandatsu is the amount of spine pulls you got. I got 1 in this fight, so I only got 500. In order to get an S rank, you need to get 5,000 points in a fight, and each category is worth 1,000 points. However, if you take no damage, that gives you a bonus of 1,500 points. So when you take no damage, that gives you a bit of a buffer to not perform at the highest in any given category. So since I have no damage, I get that 1.5k bonus. I can kind of use that to fill in the extra 500 and the extra 400 points I need in longest combo and Zandatsu. And that's how the grading scale is going to go. Time, BP, Zandatsu, longest combo, and kills. Longest combo is generally going to be about 50 hits. And there's also another bonus for no kills. So there's 2 types of enemies in this game. There are cyborgs, and there are unmanned like AI enemies, like gecko and sliders and stuff like that. Killing a slider or a gecko or a mastiff does not count as... It counts as a kill on your score, but it doesn't count as a kill towards the no kills bonus. The no kills only counts... these cyborgs. And the way you no-kill a cyborg is you cut their legs or their arms off, and then you leave them alone, and they'll disappear and they'll crawl off. And if you get no kills on all the cyborgs, you'll get a 1.5k bonus. But no kills is generally not going to be as value as no damage, because you're also graded on kills. So if you go into a fight and kill nobody, But you get your no kills bonus of 1,000, but then 1,000 of those have to go into filling in all the kills you didn't get. And because you didn't get any kills, you probably didn't get any Zandatsus. 1.5k is not enough points to completely compensate for a lack of kills and a lack of Zandatsus. So no kills is a situational bonus that you go for when the fights have a mix of unmanned weapons and cyborg combatants in them. So this is a fight where this is the first like real fight in the game. That first fight was kind of just like, you know, blow them up. And in this fight, I immediately start off with my ninja run because that will deflect shots and the gecko will shoot at you immediately. And then it'll either charge you, and that's a free kill and a free Zandatsu on the gecko, or it'll do what it did right there and come after me. And I can't, when it charges you, it's a really, really easy move to parry. For these final guys coming around, these are they're called custom cyborgs. They've got these big long swords and they force you into like parry wars. They are a menace, and they used to be my least favorite enemy, though. I've learned to deal with them now. They're a menace, though. They will parry your attacks and force you into parry wars with them, which might not seem like it that hard to deal with. Oh, just parry them back. But the problem is that when they are being supported by other enemies, they get you stuck there parrying them, and that basically stuns you for a very long period of time, leaving you open to other attacks. So they become like these huge just brick walls that will randomly parry one of your moves if you're swinging into a group, and it's like, oh, fuck off. So, customs are a big, they're a big kind of brick wall that tries to get in your way, and I will generally deal with them with using like a big strong attack like Sundown or Scissors to immediately incapacitate them. But the way they have to be dealt with is a little bit different in every fight. And they're not even my least favorite enemy. They used to be, but I've gotten used to fighting them. Now they're a bit of a hindrance, but I don't hate them how I used to. First fight coming up here is going to be Blade Wolf. Blade Wolf and almost every boss in this game has a funny quirk where, because parry damage is so high on Revengeance difficulty, if you land a perfect parry, you can instant kill a boss. Well, not instant kill every boss, but with Blade Wolf, if you do a jumping perfect parry, you can instant kill Blade Wolf. If you do that, though, you're not going to get an S rank, because the Blade Wolf fight expects you to get kills, Zandatsus, beat it quickly, get battle points, etc. If we kill Blade Wolf in one shot, we don't have combo. The only thing we got was time. We don't have combo, we don't have kills, we don't have Zandatsu, anything. So I purposely do a ground perfect parry here to keep Blade Wolf alive so that he'll summon these 3 mooks. And then I'm just going to come in here and blast the mooks with one big parry that wipes them all out. Get 3 Zandatsus. That's going to be 4 kills because we're including Blade Wolf in the kill. And that's going to easily bring us up to a S rank, especially with our no damage that we're going to be taking in this fight. So then Blade Wolf's going to come down again, go for that attack immediately. That attack is very easy to perfect parry. So a lot of times when you see people fight Blade Wolf, they just wait for that attack to come out. They safe parry his other attacks, and then they perfect parry that one when it comes out. Big punish. And then S rank right here. Bam. Oh, I was trying to pause it, but yeah, S rank, 5.8k points. Starting off immediately here, though. I'm preparing for the next fight already. As you can see, I've swapped to the Monsoon side. The next fight is going to be against a helicopter once we finish running down across this bridge. You can die on this bridge segment, so be very careful. I've actually found that just running down the center is the fastest. Not the fastest, but the safest way to do it. I've thought in the past, like, oh, I'll try to run left and right around the cars, but funny enough, sometimes when you do that, Raiden tries to, like, auto-hop over a car, and he just goes straight vertical and then lands, and then goes straight vertical again and lands, and that's like, okay, now the bridge is collapsed, and you look stupid. So I find it's actually more consistent. You just run down the middle of the bridge. Don't try to avoid the cars. Raiden will hop over them. It's not an issue. And this next fight is going to be versus the helicopter. Helicopter, there's no Zandatsu bonus, so you're not going to be graded on it because there's no Zandatsu to get. So we're just going to be jumping up to it with the Monsoon Sai. We're not going to be rip promoting to kill it instantly because we do want to build some combo on it to, you know, get a little bit of combo score. But this fight's incredibly trivial to take no damage on. So basically just use the Monsoon Sai, jump up to it to paralyze it when your Sai is in paralyze mode, and then, you know, go in for your kills. Very, very, very simple fight. And because there's nothing to Zandatsu, that kind of puts you in an unfortunate position where now we don't have enough meter to go into Ripper mode at the beginning of the next fight. And having Ripper mode at the start of fights is really, really, really important. But there's a non-ranked engagement right here before the next optional fight we're going to be doing, which even optional fights are graded, so you do have to go back and do the optional fights. And by optional fights, I mean when we finish this fight, we can run backwards. Then we can just go straight to where, like, Dr. tells us to go, or whoever tells us to go where. Or we can run back a little bit and do an optional fight. Optional fights are graded. They do count towards your S rank. So I actually don't need to Zandatsu these guys, because we will be taking someone's arm to open a gate, and we can Zandatsu him. But I just do it so that now I've got the blade mode which again is unnecessary because we're going to be Zandatsuing a guy for his arm to open this gate. But anyway, it's important that you have Ripper mode at the start of fights, because you'll see some people say like, oh, I feel like Ripper mode's kind of cheap. I don't like to use Ripper mode. I try to avoid using Ripper mode, but I feel like that's kind of like one of the tells of like a checkpoint user. I say that like it's a slur, like they're second-class citizens, these fucking checkpoint S-rank users, right? If you're the kind of person who's like, yeah, I think that Blade mode's like, or Ripper mode's like a little overpowered, I prefer not to use it in my S-rank runs, it's like, okay, then you're not single segmenting, because if you do not use it to like secure the S-rank in a lot of these fights that need to be done back-to-back without any fucking mistakes that could potentially cost you an S-rank, then you're using checkpoints, clearly, like, in my opinion. Like, there are so many fights where I feel like if I don't have Ripper mode, I don't know how I'm going to S-rank that fight. Like, you need to be able to quickly dispatch certain enemies. And there's a lot of enemies who I feel like are designed to, like, be dispatched with Ripper mode. The fight starts and there's 3 Mastiffs in the room. Yeah, no, the game definitely expects you to non-Ripper mode fight 3 Mastiffs who could, like, from off-screen command grab you while the others are attacking you, and they've got, like, really annoying perfect parry windows. Like, oh, yeah, thumbs up. Yeah, we're really gonna, that's the... Come on. But anyway, right there, that was a fight that was a perfect example of when to go for the no kills bonus. There were sliders, and those, which are the flying enemies. The sliders don't count as lethal kills towards your no kill bonus. So you can kill sliders in Zandatsu sliders, but then when the cyborg was there, I just took his legs off and left him. Sliders are enemies that are really annoying because they can do chip damage very, very, very easily. They can sometimes feel just completely unavoidable. I swear sometimes it is. But luckily, most fights the sliders are in are actually very, very, very S-rank achievable, even if you did take damage. So, you know, the designers of the game, there might be things about this game that annoy me. It's not a perfect game, but the designers of the game clearly knew what they were doing. And after playing this game full S-rank, in single segment, I do begin to have an appreciation for many of the fights where it's like, okay, they knew how difficult this would be to no damage, or they knew how inconsistent fighting this certain thing is, and they give you a bit of leeway here. This fight was actually ridiculously sloppy. I came in here, and I got like stuck on a wall and just kept bouncing up and down, but so I had to play it safe and just keep running around with Ripper mode. Once we get to Sundowner's level, the enemies are going to completely stop being vulnerable to running slashes. So we're gonna have to stop to attack everything once we get that far. And so when we get that far, you can't just be like, oh yeah, I think I will just go Ripper mode and then ninja run through these fights. Like, once you hit the Sundowner level and like that stops becoming a viable option. Which is part of the reason I think maybe I improved as a player so much in those levels, and my playstyle changed so much, I feel like, for the better. Because I wasn't able to just get away with being like, yeah, I think I will just Ripper mode Zantatsu, thank you very much. This upcoming fight's actually quite embarrassing. I go for the no kills bonus on it, because going for no damage when a grad is involved is really hard, because they have all these like little micro missiles they fire all over the place, and those can just do chip damage you really, really easily. So I am going to go for no kills in this fight here. I'm going to go for a quick takedown on the Gecko, and then two cyborgs will show up, and I'll just take their legs off. I really don't like how I did this fight, though, because I fuck up so bad. Grads are enemies, yeah, how I take damage right there. Like, it's just so fucking hard to, like, not take damage from grads. Unless you take them at it. So, like, see, I'm just getting hit by shit. So, with grads, they're an enemy that really isn't that hard to take down. They just take one perfect parry to kill. And the move to perfect parry them isn't even that hard to perfect parry, but I just can't get it in this fight. And later on, I'll be fighting grads, and you'll see that I still miss the perfect parry, and then I'll hit a point where I just, like, start fighting grads, and I start perfect parrying them every time. But around that time, the grads have stopped showing up as an enemy you need to fight. So it's like, all the way up until level 3, I fucking suck at fighting grads. And then we get to Sundowner's level, and there's like one grad that you just stun lock with an EMP, and then there's another grad you kill with a turret. And I think there's like maybe one more grad somewhere else after that, and I'm able to perfect parry that one first try every time. But it's like, why did it take me up until the grads not even being enemies you fight anymore to get good at fighting the grads? So this is a fight that I'm really not very happy with. I feel like I did kind of a shit job in it, but actually, you know what? Seeing as how I got 74 hits here, I wonder if I purposely didn't parry the grad so that I could build combo. It still looks sloppy either way, but there we go. 5.4k. Ah, shit. I'll go back to 10 seconds again, because I want to kind of look at where my points are right there. Because if I just one-shot the grad and I don't worry about combo, see how my longest combo is 1,000? If I don't worry about longest combo, I don't know if no kills carries me through, because I have to put 500 no kills into my lacking Zandatsu score. I only get a 900 on time, so another 100 of my points are going into there. So I've only got 900 more points to work with. 750 on no kills. Okay, so I'm going to have to fill up 250 of my 900 in there. And 250 of my 900, that brings me down to 750. So that means if my longest combo didn't bring me up to at least 250, no kills wouldn't have done shit for me here. Also, my BP is only at 750. So actually, if my longest combo didn't come up to about 500 points, meaning like about 25 hits, I might not have gotten this with no kills. So maybe I did just now that I'm looking back on it, maybe I did purposely keep the Grad alive. But if that's the case, you think I would have used the side to stun it. So maybe I'm just making excuses for myself now. Maybe I just suck ass at that fight. Either way, that's probably the most problematic fight in this level. This next fight is super easy. Go back, fight the choppers. We're just going to kill the first chopper instantly with blade mode, and that turns the second chopper into a just solo chopper fight. Just like the first one, super easy to take no damage on. Just hit it with the Sai to keep it in place, hit it a bit, and then when its health gets low enough, it'll give you a blade mode prompt to run up some missiles on it. So yeah, no, with that grab fight, maybe I am making excuses, but at the end of the day, you know, it got done, and that's honestly probably the hardest fight in this whole mission one is the Grad, the Gecko, and the two cyborgs, because you know you don't get a high enough combo because you're taking care of the cyborgs and the Gecko as fast as possible. You're not really going to be building the combo you need, but you're also not going to be getting a Zandatsu unless you get the Zandatsu on the Gecko and the Grad, and there's just a lot of that fight's a bit sloppy. I feel like if I'd gone back, I could have done that fight better, but I did get my S rank, so it's over with, you know. No need dwelling on it any longer. Coming down here into this fight, this is another super easy fight that I actually fucked up somehow. It's going to be a couple of cyborgs and then some Dwarf Gecko. You can just spend the entire time doing ninja run slashes, and you'll kill all the Dwarf Gecko, and when the cyborgs show up, you can even do the same thing to them, and you'll get no damage, and it'll easily give you the S rank. Here's the thing, though. I try to be, like, fancy and be like, I'm gonna go for no kills and no damage. I fuck up that slash, and I was, like, so confused about why his legs didn't come off. Because he had, like, invul spawning frames that I just, like, let him hit me. And I'm like, oh, shit. So now I'm sitting here like, well, now I've got to go for no kills because I lost my no damage, and I didn't Zandatsu that last guy. So at this point, I got to go for no kills. But as you can see, this is a super simple fight. Like, if you're not stupid like me and you just go for the no kills and Zandatsu the two guys when they show up, or fuck it, don't even Zandatsu them, go for no kills and no damage. Super simple fight. Just keep running, keep slashing the Gecko, and that fight's S rank, no problem. Like I said, easily the hardest fight in this mission was probably the one with the Grad, and then I had to practice the boss fight a few times, but honestly, yeah, the boss fight was kind of tricky as well. I'd say the boss fight and the Grad fight are probably about equally as difficult. And the boss fight really isn't that hard. It's just that there's no real margin for error in the boss fight if you want to do it the way I end up doing it. With the Grad fight, you can be a moron like me and fail parrying the Grad 7 times and still get your S rank. But on the Mistral fight, you really don't have much room to fuck up, especially if you're going for no damage and you're going to do it quickly like I am. So these are the last guys. The next fight is going to be a ranked fight with Mistral. So these last guys, just take them out quickly. They're not ranked at all. But you need to make sure that you get a Zandatsu on the last guy so that you can go into the Mistral fight with full meter. Against these custom cyborgs, they can't parry you if you're behind them. So I oftentimes jump above them and then knock them to the ground so I can run behind them and just start wailing on them from behind. So I'll probably pause before the Mistral fight starts up because I do want to explain kind of how the Mistral fight works. So she's got all these Dwarf Gecko around with her. And I'll pause right here because the fight's coming up. She's got all these Dwarf Gecko around with her, and she uses like a big bow staff. So if you pressure her without Ripper mode for long enough, you can blade mode cut her staff, and then that means she doesn't have a weapon, so she has to play on the defensive and she runs away from you. If you go Ripper mode, you can instantly run up and break her staff. And when her staff is broken, the first thing she'll do is try to run over to a Gecko and use one of them as a weapon to bludgeon you with. However, that's a really easy move to perfect parry. So what we do in this fight is we run up and we break her staff on purpose, and then we let her reach a Dwarf Gecko so that we can perfect parry the Dwarf Gecko and do a ton of her health with one hit. That will completely skip phase 1 and 2. We still have to go through the the motions of blocking her attacks while she's like going through her phases, but that takes us straight to phase 3. And in phase 3, we're going to do the exact same thing. Dodge her attacks, break her staff, parry the dwarf gecko. But in stage 3, the level around us is like exploding and there's fire, and she can like hit barrels that might blow them up, or you could hit a barrel that might blow up, and if you take damage there, you don't get your no damage bonus. And if you're going to do the fight using this tactic, where you kill her as fast as possible with perfect parries, you need the no damage bonus, because you're not getting the high combo or the BP probably, since you're not farming killing all the geckos. And you have to kill a bunch of dwarf gecko as well. Those kind of count as kills toward the fight. So while it's a pretty easy fight to do even with taking damage and getting an S rank, if you want to style on her and beat her as quickly as possible with perfect parries, you also need to make sure you don't take damage. And we do take no damage in this fight. So now that I've explained how the fight's going to go down, we can see the fight in motion. We're going to go immediately into Ripper mode and then run up to Mistral, break the staff just like that, cut the staff. And now we're just going to we're going to hit her a little bit. We're going to let her move. And she's going to go over to one of these Dwarf Gecko. This is actually a close call, but I still get the perfect parry anyway. I was like, oh shit, I thought I was going to die there when the Dwarf Gecko jumped on me. I thought I was going to lose my no damage, but I shook it off just in time. And there you go. That's the whole first phase done. We parry the Dwarf Gecko that she tries to slam into us, and that's phase 1 done. So we're going to complete this part right here. We're going to go into phase 2, which is a 2D section. She's just going to fire some projectiles at us. We're just going to avoid those projectiles and then parry, or block, I guess, her incoming attacks. Then we'll go into phase 3, and phase 3 will be done in the exact same way phase 1 was. But just a bit more carefully, because the environment can kill us.
I can handle a lot more than this. Let's have a little
So there you go. She's going to jump up there. Shoot some gecko. If you just keep moving and slashing, they'll never hit you. They're basically a non-threat. She'll jump down and she'll do one string of attacks, and then we go to phase 3. And I'm just kind of hitting her to build like a little bit of combo, because you don't want your combo to be literally 0. I did beat this fight one time, no damage, and only got an A, because I think one of my categories was too low. So, if you can, do try to slash some gecko and hit her a little bit, but, it's not that pressing of an issue. Be careful here, because the first attack she will do will be like a shockwave, so you need to dodge that. And there it is. Dodge to the side, Ripper mode, cut through the gecko, and then go breaker stick. And then exact same thing as the phase 1. Let her go and grab a gecko. Perfect parry, and the fight's over. She'll do one more volley of projectiles, but they're a non-threat. Once she jumps down, it's going to be a quick time event, and that'll end the fight. And that'll be a full S rank completion of Mission 1. I really like the boss fights in this game. They're really, really good. It's kind of interesting. I remember when I would first play this game, I would think the later half of the game was the better half. Because I'm like, oh, the later half of the game, the levels get a lot shorter, and they're just more boss fight focused. And while I still think that the boss fights are some of the best parts of this game, playing through the game in the way I have, and having to learn to route the levels the way I have, and learn to utilize more consistent strategies in the mob fights like I have, it has given me, a bit of an appreciation for the way the game is played outside of boss battles. And I don't think that the strengths of the first half and the latter half of the game are as far apart as I used to. But anyway, there you can see full S rank completion of the first mission. We're going to go on to the second mission now in the sewers. This mission, when I first played it, gave me so much frustration, and I thought it was going to be the hardest mission in the game just because of all the bullshit and all the mastiffs in it, and I'm like, oh, I fucking hate fighting these things, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of fights in Mission 2 that are very difficult to do without taking damage. This is the first mission where it kind of this is the mission that took me the second longest to complete, believe it or not. Well, actually, maybe third longest. It's tied with another one, maybe. This is the mission that really drilled into my head. You're not gonna get no damage every run, dude. It's just not consistent. Maybe if you were using checkpoints you could, but in a single segmented run, playing for no damage and fancy choreography is not consistent. And unless I want to be restarting these levels forever, I gotta play for consistency. This is the level that really drilled that into my head, because there are so many fights where it's just like, I just take some chip damage, and it's like, oh, fuck this. Now I need to know how to salvage this fight without my bonus, Funny enough, I think in this very first fight, I actually take damage. I try to, like, skip. I've done this bitch just so many times. I'm just like, yeah, non-playable section, skip. Oh, wait a minute. I actually think I take damage in this first fight. This first fight is ridiculously forgiving. You only need, like, one Zandatsu and, like, some okay combo. So, the Mastiffs, these enemies are really, really, really frustrating to fight. I missed that perfect parry. Oh, Mastiffs. They are frustrating to fight. On top of the fact that I'm really, really, really absurdly awful at perfect parrying them, they've got like 2 attacks that I can perfect parry every time, no problem. But then they've got this like overhead slam and these like backhanded elbows if you like get behind them. And I swear to God, these moves have like the smallest perfect parry window in the game. I cannot for the life of me perfect parry those moves with more than like maybe at best 50% consistency. I'm a fucking moron. I don't know why I can't do it. So Mastiffs give me a huge issue. They've also got these command grabs where they've got 2 of them, which are equally frustrating in their own way. One of them has a shit ton of startup and you can see it coming a mile away, but he keeps running. So half the time you dodge it and then he just like whoop whoop 180s and grabs you anyway while you're in a dodge recovery. And it's fucking bullshit. And even if you try to jump them, they're high enough to hit you. The second one is a command grab that has like virtually no startup. They just like flash yellow and you're like, oh, I'm grabbed. so it's like, if you're close enough to them and they do that grab, it's just like, oh, we'll get fucked retard, I guess. So Mastiffs are incredibly frustrating fights. They are priority 1 enemies. If there's ever a Mastiff in a fight, and I can kill them early, I will almost always go Ripper mode and try to take them out as soon as I can. They are menaces. This next fight will also come up with another enemy that is a menace, and that enemy is every single enemy that uses a fucking RPG. So for this, I'm going to be going for no kills. I'm going to run up to these guys and just try to take their legs off and then bail, because it's really, really hard to go no damage here. Like, I got no damage here, funny enough, but any kind of fight where RPG guys are involved, I feel like there is a % chance that you just don't get your no damage, because on top of the fact that RPGs very lightly home in on you, they also spin and spiral around in the air like crazy. Which means that this next fight's going to come up really fast, so to not break my train of thought, I'm going to pause it. What this means is that when you're fighting enemies with RPGs, you can route the fight in a way to try to avoid the RPGs, and you will avoid them, like 90% of the time. But there is that 1 in 10 times where one of the RPGs, just while it's spinning through the air and like light homing onto you, the pattern it spins through the air in is just crazy enough that it is like spins in your direction at just the right time, and it fucking knocks you out of the air and hits you. Like, so you can move around like a madman, zigzagging, jumping, fucking dodge, flipping, all of this shit against the RPGs, but sometimes it really just feels like there's just a % chance they just fucking hit you. So any fight where there's RPG guys, they are also huge menaces, and they are priority number 1. They need to be taken care of ASAP, because they just throw so much inconsistency and uncertainty into the fight. Talking about annoying enemies, we're gonna come up with the next most fucking frustrating enemy in the game, the Raptors. Now for this fight, it's simple enough. I just go blade mode and I do a big spinning attack, and I don't even care about going for Zandatsus. My goal here is just get a huge combo bonus from cutting up all of the Raptors and kill them ridiculously fast, and that'll give me enough BP and enough of a time bonus that even without Zandatsus, my no damage will pop me up and give me the S rank. And it did. So Raptors are incredibly frustrating to fight because they will, if you let them live for too long, they will fire off these like big giant EMP balls with huge, massive AoE, like room clearing. Like sometimes there's a couple of fights where they're in a room with you, or like on the Sundowner level, there's one on an elevator with you, and if you let it live for more than like 5 seconds, the entire elevator is just covered by the EMP, and you're getting hit. Like, just fuck off. Like, it's kind of ridiculous. The other thing about Raptors is that when there are multiple Raptors in a fight, if you kill one of them, the other Raptor goes into a rage mode. And while it's in its rage mode, you cannot dismember it while you're in Ripper mode. So they're just huge menaces. Like guys with rocket launchers, Mastiffs, which are these guys, and then Raptors are probably the 3 biggest just menaces in the game that I can think of. And again, man, another part of me that wishes I'd redone this second level is that I'm gonna fuck up the air assassination on this last Mastiff, and I'm gonna have to fight him, and I'm just gonna get hit by him over and over and over again. Like it's like I'm a moron. Like, he's just gonna keep hitting me. Like, oh, I messed up the perfect parry, I dodged that, so it's like, oh, okay, everything's looking good now. But like, oh, another perfect parry miss, dodge that, okay, cool, everything looks fine. Oh, another perfect parry miss, and then I just let that hit me. And here's the other thing that sucks about this game: when Mastiffs hit you, they stun you, meaning that even though I have 5 healing paste, if you get hit by a Mastiff, sometimes that literally just means, oh, that, by the way, yeah, that's the one I'm talking about, where it's got a longer startup, but if you dodge it, sometimes he just like, whoop, whoop, 180 grabs you anyway. It's frustrating. There we go, and I finally get a perfect parry, but look at that, he fucking made me go through 3 nano pastes. So that is one thing that's also really annoying about this game, is that there are some enemies in this game that if they hit you, there is a chance that you are just instantly dead. Like a Mastiff will hit you and it stuns you. And then another Mastiff hits you, makes you use another healing paste, and that hit also stuns you. And then a Mastiff comes and hits you, and it stuns you, and you're literally just chain stunned and you can't get out, and they will just do that till you die. It is infuriating. So this is an optional fight we have to go back for. Again, another fight I feel like I played poorly but still got the S rank in. These guys you can do an air parry on, an air perfect parry, and then you can Zandatsu them. I fuck up every air perfect parry, so I just have to go for blade mode 2 hits into a Zandatsu. But this fight is really frustrating because it's incredibly difficult to take no damage. These water striders are going to pincer you in and spawn on both sides of you. And enemies in this game have no reservations about attacking from off-screen. So on top of the fact you can't, like, parry fire, so you're just going to take damage if they decide to do that attack, one's coming off-screen. You can hear him. Here he comes. I'm going to try to oh, just a second too late. Like, I really was trying to parry that, but I was just, like, a millisecond too late. I knew that fucker was coming in, and in my greed to go for a cool off-screen perfect parry, I delayed it because I wanted my parry to be perfect. I didn't go for a safe one. I wanted it to be a perfect parry, and I fucked it up and got hit. However, in this fight, if you get every Zandatsu on the Water Striders, and you build up like a 50-hit combo, then you will still get the S rank, most likely. Because the time limit is relatively forgiving, and the kill rating isn't going to matter, and because you kill so many things, and you cut some things into so many parts while building up your combo, you'll just get everything. So, despite the fact that this fight is very frustrating and very difficult to not take, it's a very frustrating fight to do no damage on, it's actually a rather forgiving fight if you decide that you're gonna go for taking damage and just maxing out all your categories. Like, see, time 1 minute 18 seconds, full points. Battle points, that just came with doing everything. That's the longest combo, 86 kills, 13. I just killed everything. Like, I wasn't gonna not kill something. Zandatsu's at 4. So the big thing for this fight is just make sure you get all your Zandatsus. That's what's important. And then your 50-hit combo. But here's a Metal Gear tip for you. When you need to build combo, when you go into Ripper mode and then you go into Blade mode, your Blade mode gauge actually drains slower than if you go into Blade mode while you're not in Ripper mode. So oftentimes if I want to build meter, build combo, I go into Ripper mode and then I immediately go into Blade mode and I just sit there and I wail on an enemy. And generally, if you exhaust and deplete your entire Ripper mode gauge while you're in Blade mode, that will usually get you about 50 hits. And that's pretty much standard for most fights. Most fights, 50 hits is about what the game expects of you. So you'll see me do that in a lot of fights going forward, where there'll be like 1 or 2 enemies left, and I just go into Ripper mode, and I just sit there for like 10, 15 seconds, just cutting them into a million pieces. This has a double bonus of, filling out my combo, but also the more pieces you cut things into, the more battle points you get. So it fulfills 2 purposes of increasing my battle point score and allowing me to reach the combo score the game wants from me. So this fight coming up is going to be versus 3 Mastiffs and a Raptor. It's a pretty hard fight to do without items, so you're going to see me throw a smoke grenade down there. RP stands for red phosphorus, but I'm just going to call them smoke grenades. The first thing I do is I chuck a smoke grenade down to the pit where they all are, so when I run in here, I can assassinate the first Mastiff very quickly without the other 2 Mastiffs seeing me. But believe me, you might be like, wow, this guy abusing smoke grenades, not fighting the enemies in this action game. Believe me, you have no idea how inconsistent and difficult it is to fight 3 Mastiffs without taking damage, and then once you like start to hit, and then at a certain point in the fight, a Raptor jumps in, and it's gonna now start flinging fucking like EMPs at you. Like, yeah, forget about it. Like, like I said, when you're playing for a single segment, or when you're doing single segmented runs, you play for consistency, and if that means I got to use some items here and there to level the playing field, then that's what we're gonna do. Like I said at the start of the game, though, I don't use more items than I would realistically have. I'm not using 5 red phosphorus grenades every single level. I used 2 right there, but I started off the run with 5. And if you count the amount I pick up throughout the game, you'll see that I vastly use less than I would have if I use less than I have collected, and that I have started with, naturally. Or maybe not, but you know what I mean. I haven't gone over my limit. I pause right here because the next fight starts immediately. And I just wanted to finish my thought. This game goes fast. Anyway, we're going to be going for... Okay, we are going for no damage. I couldn't remember if we were going for no kills, but we are going for no damage. So the reason I don't Zandatsu those guys is 2 raptors come into this fight, and they come out fast. And the longer raptors are alive, the bigger problem they are. So I don't even Zandatsu those first 2 guys because... Remember when I talked about earlier, menaces are guys with rocket launchers. They all had rocket launchers. Rocket launcher guys need to die as soon as they fucking, like, possibly can. So I don't even go for the Zandatsu. That wastes time. I just cut them and then cut their legs. Cut them, cut their legs to cut them into 2 pieces. Funny enough, the game ends my fight here, but there's still a dwarf gecko alive. So I'm sitting here with Boris talking, and I'm like, Boris, no, wait, Boris, no, 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 no! It doesn't kill me, but for a second I was sitting there like, oh god, like... Don't tell me that, like, this is going to fuck me over, but it's fine. It doesn't matter. The next area is just going to be, you know, some navigating with a dwarf gecko, and then it's not a problem. Then the boss comes after that. So yeah, no, in that last fight, I killed the 3 guys, the 2 guys with rocket launchers instantly. I don't even go for the Zandatsu. Kill the 3rd one, get the Zandatsu for meter, because I need Ripper mode. And then, around the time that I finish Zandatsu the 3rd guy, both of the raptors are out of their cages. So I bounce an EMP off the wall to hit them as they're coming in, and that makes it so the raptors are not a problem. But no, that fight took a bit of routing. It took me quite a few times practicing that fight to figure out how I wanted to route it. I wasn't sure if I wanted to go for no kills, or if I wanted to go for no damage, or if I wanted to Zandatsu everything, or maybe I wanted to, like, bait things up to the top floor. It took me a while to figure out how I wanted to do it, but I eventually just settled on, you know, the no damage will buffer my score enough that I don't need to get as many Zandatsus as I think I do, so I can just go for kills and then use a Zandatsu purely for meter building. And by meter building, I mean filling up my Ripper mode gauge at the top. I'm going to call that meter. I might call it Devil Trigger now and again, interchangeably, but that's my meter, basically. I'm going to call it meter a lot of times. So the boss in this level is the dual grad fight, and this is one of the most infamous fights in the game. But I am actually here to say that the grad fight, while it did take me a long time to practice, and it was a very, very frustrating fight, it is not actually a hard fight to S rank. It is a hard fight to survive. Once you know how the fight works, getting an S rank in it is not very difficult. However, not getting instantly killed is not very easy. So after we cleared this room, one of the guys we knocked out with the gecko, we're gonna go Zandatsu him just to, like, refill our meter and our health. And then we're gonna move on to the grad fight. So I'll probably pause before the grad fight to explain what we do in it. But in the grad fight, the grad is fucked up, because if the grad hits you with one of its missiles or something, it will instantly stun you, and then it will hit you with another missile, which instantly stuns you. Each missile does, like, fucking 300% health, so sometimes you'll get shot by one, and it'll force you to use 2 nano pastes. The grad is one of the few fights in the game that literally, well, not one of the few fights in the game, it is one of the fights in the game that if it hits you, there is a non-zero chance that you are literally just straight dead, no matter how much nano paste you have. It is fucked. So it's very, very, very dangerous boss. Also very difficult to do no damage on because the arena is on fire and constantly exploding. So to S-rank this fight, we're not going to worry about no damage. Fuck it. Here's how this fight works. You need to beat it quickly and get a high enough combo because there's no Zandatsu requirement and you're going to get all the kills. So the only things you need to worry about in this fight are the combo, the time, and the battle points. However, the battle points would be the hardest one, because there's like, how are you going to get battle points in this fight if there's nothing you can cut into a bunch of pieces, and there's not much shit to pick up? Alright, so there's a hidden box before the grad fight. This is technically the grad fight has started right now that I've entered this room. The grad fight is technically on. So any battle points I collect in this room count. So there's a hidden box behind some crates on the left side of this arena. We are going to cut that open and collect a data cube, and that data cube is going to give us all of the battle points we need for the fight. Meaning the only thing we need to worry about during the grad fight is getting a high combo and beating it quickly. And surviving, of course. So there's our battle point chip. All we need to worry about now is surviving and killing it with a 50-hit combo. This part is very important. When you cross this wall, immediately go right. Do not run in front of the grad. See that cannon it fires at you? That's a hit scan. That is a hit scan that does like 300% damage and will instantly kill you. It's fucking bullshit. So this is where the real fight starts. It's very important that you parry. The grad will always do this attack at the start. It's very important you perfect parry that. If you don't, it may be harder for you to get the time, the time requirement. But once you have parried that, stay in Ripper mode and immediately kill the back grad. There's going to be 2 grads here. You want to go back and you want to kill the weaker grad immediately. And I sit here to chop it up because I'm trying to build up my combo. Unfortunately, you'll see I fail to maintain my combo like 3 times, but I still get my combo at the end of it. So now that that Grad's dead, we're going to run perpendicular with this Grad always, because we need to avoid, when it locks on you with that laser, it could fire that hit scan at you that will just fucking instantly kill you. So right here, I'm just going to sit here and chain stun it with EMPs and the Monsoon Sai, because I'm trying to build up my meter. I'm like, yeah, okay, or not my meter, my combo. I'm a dumbass, though, and I forget to go into Ripper mode when I do this, and I'm like, oh, wait, I should probably build up meter to go Ripper mode again. And then it drives into me, knocks me back, and then it spins into that. The explosion hits me even though I'm airborne, so, like, this is why I'm saying that no damage is not feasible in this fight. You're gonna take damage in this fight. The important thing is getting your combo up, and this is where I utilize Blade mode, Ripper mode. I knock it down onto one leg and I stun it, and I just sit here and I just go to town with Ripper mode, or Blade mode. I get my 50 hits. I'm gonna cut it up a little bit more. Like maybe 1 or 2 hits. Yeah, I don't even bother. I know 50 hits is what I need. And then boom, you look at that score, 2,000, 2,000, 2,000, 2,000. The battle points, all are from that data cube we got at the start. Longest combo, 53. Well, we only need 50 to get the S rank. Kills, can't not get 2 kills. And the time, I don't remember what time we have to beat. I think you have to beat 2 minutes and like 10 seconds or something. But you see, it's not that rough. The Grad fight is very frustrating. Because of how punishing it is, but if you're able to beat it and you know how it works, getting the S rank is basically guaranteed. There's another fight later on in the Sundowner level where people say this is the most frustrating fight in the whole game. It's the lobby fight, where the optional lobby fight where you have to sit at the turret gun and shoot the stuff as they come in and get off the turret and hit the guys when they come to flank you and stuff. Some people say that's the hardest fight in the game. Yeah, that's a real fucking, what's it called? That's a real checkpoint user statement, I think, because when I got to Sundowners level, that was like the easiest fight in the level. That was the fight I could do the most consistently, like every fucking time without any mistakes, for the most part. Like, it is not, this fight's not ranked, by the way, so just beat it however you want. Yeah, like that fight against the Grad with the turret in the beginning of Sundowners level, anyone who says that's the hardest fight in the game, that's the most frustrating fight, instant checkpoint user. You've clocked them. Checkpoint user alert, because that fight is pretty consistent. And when it's probably a fight that takes a long time to learn, because you really have to learn how to route that fight and learn killing this enemy spawns this enemy and doing this does that. So you really need to like figure out the order to do the fight in, and like you need to like really figure out the optimal way to route the fight. But once you have, it is such a consistent fight, and you could fuck it up to high heaven and still get an S rank on it. It's super forgiving. So anyone who claims that's the hardest fight in the game, checkpoint user right there. All right. If you see disgusting checkpoint users, you know who I hate? You know who I hate as much as I hate checkpoint users? I hate Redditors who, oh man, this is a pet peeve of mine. When you're talking about a game online, okay, I'll come back to that. Mission 3. Mission 3 is a mission that I thought was actually going to take me a long time to beat, because it's the first mission where there's a lot of fights back to back to back over a long course. This mission actually only took me like my 3rd real try. I do like I kind of beat the levels in 3 phases. I will do the first phase where okay, I edited this video poorly, and that wasn't my successful run. This is the successful run of the mission. So there you go. You see, I fuck up at the very beginning, and I have to restart the whole mission. But, all right, rewind. Going back to the start. So mission 3, it's a long mission. It's got a, this is the successful run. I didn't fuck up my editing so bad that this isn't the successful run. I guarantee it. I kind of practice the missions in 3 stages. I do one run where I just play through the level normally, and I just kind of get a feel for everything in the level. My second run, I play through the level and I checkpoint every single fight like 3 or 4 times in a row. I checkpoint all the fights until I can beat them like 3 or 4 times in a row. And for this first fight, I'm going for no damage. I've seen some people go for no kills. I think it's kind of a pain in the ass to go for no kills, so as long as you just keep ninja running, the people can't shoot you. Make sure you take care of RPG guys, they're dangerous. But just keep ninja running, people can't really hit you. And then, you know, no damage should carry you pretty far through the end of this. There's also another trick we're about to do right here. We're going to charge up our sword right here and then do an unsheath. If you do unsheath from the side, see that custom cyborg, the one with the greatsword who tries to parry you? If you do this facing them, they will parry your sword and lock you in. I'm waiting for this guy. He's charging me. Come on, get in here. There we go. Now he's down. With custom cyborgs, if you unsheath, they will parry your sword, and you'll have to get stuck in parry wars with them. Parry wars with them are also frustrating, because you could be like, oh, just dodge out, just dodge away from them. You can't. When you are parrying fucking custom cyborgs, you are stuck parrying them. If you try to dodge out, you just get stuck, and you don't do anything, and they hit you. It's fucking annoying. But here's the thing. If you unsheath, I'm going to fight some grads here. I got something to say about that. But if you unsheath to the side and you hit them with the shockwave and not your sword, they can't parry that. So if you ever want to deal with a custom cyborg and you have some time to like set up for the fight like I did there, doing a Ripper mode unsheath is a really good way to just take them out of the fight really early on. Okay, we're going to fight 2 grads here, and I've got a trick for fighting grads as well, because I fuck up the perfect parry on both of these grads as well. Oh my god, Gibbons, you still suck at fighting grads. What a loser. But I need no damage. I need no damage. What am I going to do for no damage? So if you Ripper mode a grad, and then you go up here to, like, start cutting it up, see how even after I've cut the plates on, I keep cutting, and then bam, see the stars say AI error? When you go into that Ripper mode phase with the grad, where you cut its side plating off, instead of ending Ripper mode, or instead of ending blade mode, keep on cutting the grad until you see AI error, because that means the grad is stunned and you can go for a Zandatsu. We're going to do it again here. We cut its plating off, but we're going to keep hitting it. We're just going to keep swinging, keep swinging, keep swinging, keep swinging. AI error, stars. Okay, and then I just killed it because it was the last grad and I just wanted the fight to end. But if you don't, the second you see AI error, if you stop swinging, you can go and then Zandatsu it like I did the first one. This part's an unranked fight. I'm just killing some mooks. But then there'll be an optional fight once they're all dead. Okay. So what was I talking about before? Oh yeah, what was I saying? I run levels. So the second time I run through a level, yeah, I replay every fight until I can beat it like 5 times consistently using checkpoints. And then for the third run, that's when I start going for single segment, and that's when I start playing through the levels. And if I fuck up a mission, or if I fuck up a fight, I reload it. I do the fight 2 or 3 more times in a row, and then I restart the mission all over again. And that's basically kind of like my learning process. Is once I've got a feel for the fights, now I'm gonna go do this optional fight. There's going to be only custom cyborgs in this optional fight, so we're going to be using Sundowner Scissors to shockwave and take care of them. I'm not about to sit here, and even though you could do Ripper mode running slashes against these guys, sometimes they will do some like really, really fast kick and like poke you out of what you're doing, or one of them will do some like stinger jab from like across the map like they're fucking Dante, and it will obliterate you. So just for consistency's sake, I ain't fucking around. We're just pulling the Sundowner Scissors out, and we're taking out as many of the customs at the very beginning of the fight as we can. This fight is very, very possible for you to do too quickly and not get an S rank on, even with no damage. So really make sure that you get, like, at least 3 Zandatsus if you can. Like 2, maybe cutting it. Maybe you can get, like, 2 Zandatsus in a high combo, but, like, that fight is very, very, very easy to complete with no damage and still get an A rank, so be careful about it. But anyways, what I was saying earlier. So yeah, that's my learning process. Once we get to the third phase of the learning process is I start going for single segment, and then I restart the mission every time I fuck up, basically, from the very beginning. This mission was one I thought I was going to dread because it's got so many fights back to back to back. I'm like, this is going to be the hardest mission. Funny enough, I beat it on like my 3rd try. This was like my 3rd try going for single segment runs. Yeah, as you saw, I fucked up my 2nd try on the very first fight. But this is like only my 3rd try, and I somehow get through it, and I surprise myself. But because of that, because it's like only my 3rd try, that means that a lot of these fights really aren't as refined as they could have been, so I do make quite a few mistakes, and luckily I'm able to salvage it. But there are some parts of this level that look a bit sloppy, and I'm a little bit embarrassed about. This fight's actually one of them. When the fight starts, it's actually faster if you go into Ripper mode and then jump and hit the head of the first gecko that jumps through the window. You can kill it that way before the 2nd gecko even gets a chance to move, and from here, I'm not even bothering with the 2nd gecko, because these little dwarf gecko, the tripods, they have little SMGs, and they'll be shooting at you while you're trying to fight the big gecko. So if you try to fight the big gecko and don't deal with them, you might take chip damage. And if you take chip damage, even if it's 0.1%, if my health goes down from 190 to 189.99, no damage from me. So I don't even bother fighting the 2nd gecko until the dwarf gecko are dead, and then once they're dead, I go back into fighting the gecko. However, I'll talk about this fight in a second. However, if the gecko does his dash attack, which you can parry and then go into the quick time event for a Zandatsu, I will parry that. Moving on to this fight, there's going to be a guy immediately that shoots an RPG at you. Like I said, RPG guys are dangerous. We do not want to be in his line of sight. So the second he fires an RPG, we run back here around this wall, we charge up our Sundowner Scissors, 2 customs with shields are going to come around the wall. Imagine trying to fight 2 customs in a tiny hallway while a guy shoots rockets at you. Yeah, no thanks. So we're just going to Sundowner Scissors these guys instantly to take them out. Run up and take out these next 2 guys that follow in. And from here, we're just going to build some combo and try to get some Zandatsus. you do need to get a little bit, you know, combo isn't as important as Zandatsu, and you probably don't need all 4 Zandatsus, but, you know, better to be safe than sorry. And then we're just going to sit here and try to be unpredictable and jump so the guy with the rocket launcher doesn't hit me. He's never hit me while I'm running at him, but that was close, wasn't it? Like, this guy's a motherfucker, and I can totally see him ending some people's runs, so be careful. But yeah, that's that fight. Basically, we're just going to pull back, Sundowner Scissors to kill the big threats early, clean everyone else up with Blade Mode and Ripper Mode, get my Zandatsus, and then go to take out the RPG guy. So, another thing I thought would drive me crazy about this level is that when you're doing levels in single segment, waiting around times like this, where you're just sitting on an elevator, they grate on you. They fucking grate on you. That was the thing that drove me the craziest about the Sundowner mission, which is the one after this, which took me the longest to beat by a long run. That mission has so much, like the thing about the Sundowner mission was that I could get through the first half of it, no problems whatsoever. All of the hard fights are in the second half, but the first half of the mission takes, like, even when you're going fast, like 15 minutes. So every time I fucked up, I had to wait like a requisite 15 minutes just before I could try the actual hard parts again, and it was driving me to insanity. So this is going to be an optional fight over here with some sliders. Like I said, sliders are very hard to avoid damage entirely from, so we're not going to be going for no damage in this fight. We're going to be going for no kills. So, you know, take out the legs of the cyborgs, but don't kill them. And we're mainly going to be targeting the sliders for Zandatsus. You do need to make sure you get basically every Zandatsu on these sliders, though. Like I said, the no damage, or no kills doesn't really carry you as far as no damage does. But it is a nice kind of cushion for if you can't do it no damage. So, and there's cyborgs and unmanned weapons around. So, the really important thing is just make sure you get all your Zandatsus and make sure you get a 50 hit combo. Right here against this slider, we're going to go into Ripper Mode, then Blade Mode, and we're going to wail on him for the 50 hits. As long as your first slash is on target, you can hit them like a million times and then still Zandatsu them. Sliders are also really nice because sliders are really weird in that you can get a lot of multi-hits on them when they start to cut into smaller pieces. So I've sometimes been cutting up sliders and I get like a 150 hit combo and I'm just like, oh, where the fuck did that come from? Just because that's just how sliders are. So this guy's funny. I've got his legs off. He's not in the fight anymore, and I'm trying to get far enough away from him to despawn him, but he's close enough to me in every corner of the arena that he won't despawn. So I'm sitting here worrying like, oh shit, I'm not going to get my time requirement. This guy's taking too long. So I go to slap him to see if maybe that'll make him go away, and alright, there we go. Now he's getting out of here. Now I'm going to get my no kills bonus, and as you can see, I actually only got 900 on time, but because I got 4 Zandatsus and I got a high combo rating, the no kills was able to carry me the rest of the way through. Next fight is a pretty standard fight. It's going to be 3 hammer cyborgs and 2 sliders with cyborgs riding them. We're going to go for Zandatsus on basically everything here. We're not going to be going for no kills. So, because like I said earlier, sliders are so good for building combo on, I do try to build some combo, but I actually fucked that up big time. And now I don't have Ripper Mode because I think his Zandatsu. I actually got hit there. Okay, so at this point I realized, oh, fuck me. I got hit. I can't go for no damage anymore. So at this point, I need to make sure that I max out every single one of the optional scores. Or not optional scores, but of the scoring system. So now, I'm going for every single Zandatsu. And I do still get the S rank here, even though I only get 4 of the 5 Zandatsus. So you only need 4 of the 5 Zandatsus here. Keep that in mind. But I'm sitting here basically like, okay, if I get every Zandatsu, I can still complete this. But I need to make sure that I get a high combo and I get a high battle point rating. So every single one of these hammer cyborgs I go up to, I put them in a state where I can Zandatsu them. And then I cut them up. I cut them up real fine, tiny pieces, and then I try to go for my 50 hit combo. As you can see right there, though, I only had 40 something hits, 49 hits. So right here, what I'm doing is I'm like purposely not wailing on this guy while in Ripper Mode because I'm trying to build up my hits. And I see the next guy get close, and I'm thinking, okay, now that the next guy's close, I can hit him before the combo breaks because of my Zandatsu. And from here, we're just going to slice this guy up, do a bunch of tiny pieces, get our 50 hit combo, get our Zandatsu, and that's going to be our S rank. But yeah, I thought I no damage this, but I guess that's the nice thing about this game, is that if you know what you're doing, you can still salvage fights even if you don't do it perfectly. This next fight actually takes quite a bit of routing. It took me a bit of a while to figure out how I wanted to do this, but we're going to switch to the Monsoon Sai. Basically what we're going to do is instantly kill, there's 2 customs and a helicopter. We need to kill the first custom instantly. So we're going to go into Ripper mode and just make him a non-threat. Get him out of here. Legs off. Second custom, we're going to use our Monsoon Scion. But uh-oh. Targeting system alert. Targeting system alert. The game didn't target me on the custom I wanted to. So I had to, like, back up plan B, go hit the custom, instantly Zandatsu him. And now I'm just like, okay, now if I take no damage, I still get it. But you need to get at least one Zandatsu in this fight. So that is one thing I gotta say is really frustrating about this game, is that it's a really fun game, but there's a lot of really small things that really begin to piss me off the more I play it. One of the things is the targeting system. The game sometimes just decides that Raiden wants to target whoever he thinks is the biggest threat in a room. So there'll be some guy right next to you, and you're like, I want to attack this guy. And you'll hit the square button, and Raiden will do some, like, spinning flip to hit the guy, like, behind him across the room. And it's like, no, go back! And then the guy who you were trying to beat on runs up and, like, smashes you in the back of the head with a stick. And it's like, oh, this guy's a retard. It's like, oh, come on. Like, so sometimes the game really just does not want to cooperate with you. The other thing is the lock-on system. So if you push, I think R1 or L1, I don't remember which, it's been like a month since I played, like I said, you'll lock onto people. Now, you might think that you'll lock onto the character who the camera's pointing to. Oh, no? Okay, well then you probably lock onto the person Raiden is facing. No, you lock onto whoever the game says you're gonna lock onto, idiot. I cannot tell you how many fucking fights in this game I have done where there's some, like, guy behind me, and then there's a guy below me, and I'm like, okay, I need to basically, like, dive kick this guy while he's off camera because of just his positioning on the map. I need to lock onto him to do this dive kick. So I'll, like, look down, point the camera down, look at him, face Raiden towards him. I can see him, I can currently see him, and I lock on, and the game is like, oh no, watch out, there's a guy on the opposite side of the room missing his legs. Raiden, watch out. Like, the game just fucking targets whoever it wants sometimes. But then, despite the fact that the game will spitefully target whoever it wants half the time. By the way, this is all just stealth section shit. So, like, this isn't actually ranked, so I'm just gonna talk about whatever I want over this. It speaks for itself. You know, sneak past the Mastiffs. Mastiffs are annoying, blah, blah, blah. So despite the fact that a lot of times the game will just target whoever the fuck it wants, when it comes to flying enemies like sliders, if you don't have line of sight, tough shit, kid, we're not locking onto them. So when you come into, like, really speed-intensive fights where it's like, I need to kill these sliders before the Mastiffs show up, and the game is just like, oh yeah, I don't see any sliders here. You're like, no, game, they're above me. Go. I don't see any sliders, Raiden. Better wait for the Mastiffs to show up. Or, like, they're, like, firing fucking missiles at you from the top, and you just can't see it coming, and you don't know which direction they're in because you can't lock onto them. Then, like, missiles hit you in the back, like, oh, I guess I'm going for, I guess I can't go for no damage now. Like, oh my, it drives me fucking crazy. So while I'm playing this game, there are so many small things about it that make me want to fucking kill someone. But in hindsight, now that I'm a pro at this game, now that I'm a fucking expert, mega super good at this game, even though you might not believe it, seeing how I play in these first 3 missions, once the Sundowner mission kicks in, you'll see what a pro I am. I really step it up. I'm legitimately very proud of how I start playing at the Sundowner mission and past that. I really step it up, and you can see a huge difference in my play. I feel really good about how I play those later missions. There's probably a few fights in the Sundowner mission that makes me go, oh man, I fucked this up. But I in general feel pretty proud of how I play past that point. I feel like I've become a pretty good player. But yeah, no, some things about this game, they were frustrating. So we're coming up to our the actual ranked fight pretty soon. We're gonna kill this Mastiff here. Just kidding! Haha! For some reason he saw me. So now I get to sit here and be grabbed by him like 3 times. Oh, what's that? You dodged my attack? Sorry, 180 lock on, idiot. Like, come the fuck on, dude. And I don't want to Ripper mode him because I need Ripper mode for the next fight. So I'm like, oh, I don't want to Ripper mode him and accidentally miss my Zandatsu. So I'm trying to keep him alive, and he just keeps fucking hitting me with his stupid command grabs. Driving me crazy. Perfect parry. Thank God I finally got it. And there's my Zandatsu. God, I fucking hate Mastiffs. They're so annoying. I mean, I kind of, like, love to hate them, but at the same time, I also just straight hate them. Fuck them. So this fight's a bit interesting. This is the ranked fight right here. We only need 1 Zandatsu in this fight, but, oh my God, what am I doing? I'm a fucking clown. What I do normally is I jump on these boxes, and I air assassinate this guy. I'm gonna kill myself. Okay, so normally the way I route this fight is I assassinate that guy, and when I do it, I get spotted mid-assassinate. That way, the fight technically starts, and that counts as my Zandatsu. That didn't count as my Zandatsu, I don't think. So, oh, it had to have counted as my Zandatsu, because, no, that didn't count as my Zandatsu, I don't think, because Now I need a no damage fight. I don't remember how this fight goes. This fight sucks. All right. I'm gonna have to give a recap of this fight once I finish watching this fight. Again, it's been a month. No Zandatsu. Bam, look at that shit. But the no damage carried me through. So I needed no damage here. I'm gonna do a recap of this fight right here. Okay. Normally, I run up to these boxes, and I jump on these boxes, and I go and I assassinate the Mastiff. While I'm assassinating him, he spots me, meaning that the fight starts. The free Zandatsu I get from him counts as the one Zandatsu I need to max out my Zandatsu ranking. Perfect, excellent. But that fucking Mastiff that I got stuck fighting back there took me so long to kill, this Mastiff is not in the right position anymore. So in trying to get over to him, I knock these boxes over. I didn't even know you could kick those boxes around. I'm like, oh, I gotta get out of here. I get the fuck away from him, and I'm like, okay, he's in position. I can still assassinate him. He doesn't catch me, though. I have been undetected. This does not count as a kill that goes toward the mission. This does not count as a Zandatsu that goes toward the mission. So in my head, I'm thinking, okay, fuck, I need no damage. But we're in a dark room, and you know what you can't do? You can't see where enemies are and fight them at the same time in darkness. So I have to, like, use my, like, augmented vision to see where he is, and then run over to him. And while the mission is, like, slowly growing pitch black, I'm like, oh, I gotta kill him before the mission goes pitch black. I can't fight enemies in a pitch black room. Luckily, I kill him with blade mode. But, oh my fucking god. This is actually a very forgiving fight. This fight is ridiculously forgiving. For how many things went wrong, yet I still got the S rank with no damage, this is a very forgiving fight. Like, look at my BP. 1,000 points on BP. What did I even do to get BP? Longest combo 25, and I still almost got 1,000? Like, alright, 6 kills? I didn't, so it gives you plenty enemies to kill to max out, even if the first enemy doesn't count towards your rank. So, very forgiving fight, but, yeah, I was panicking during that fight, because I really thought I had fucked it up. That's not even the most finicky fight in this level. There are fights in this level that are a bit more inconsistent that I was even a bit more worried about. So, like, we're not even done yet. But, just despite all that, like I said, this is, like, only, like, my 3rd attempt trying to go for single segment. So I beat this level surprisingly fast. I got very lucky. So for this fight right here, we're going to have a grad up at the top. It's going to be shooting at us. I want to run under. This is going to be an example of Raiden attacking whoever the fuck he feels like. I want to attack this custom. Whoa, where are you going, Raiden? Oh, that guy back there? Like, what? Like, I wanted to take the custom out as soon as the fight started, and Raiden's like, no, wait a minute. That guy looks like a menace. I don't know why. I don't know where he's going, but he decided to fly back to that guy, which means I couldn't get the Zandatsu on the first guy. I missed the Zandatsu on that guy. So, again, I'm panicking here. I'm like, oh my god, am I going to have enough points even with no damage? So, no damage is necessary here. I have to get no damage on this grad. So, I'm going to do exactly what I said I was going to do earlier. Knock it down, and then just try to get the Zandatsu here for that, because I'm just trying to beat this fight as fast as possible. I don't know what the time requirement is. I don't even go for a bunch of hits, because I'm like, fuck it. I'm just going to beat the mission as fast as I can and see if I can get the S rank, and if the no damage can carry me through. And then the mission takes 10 years to end, and boom, it did carry me through. Funny enough, another very forgiving... Okay, maybe not that forgiving. Like 18 with only 600 points, 3 kills. 3 kills at 900? I guess you really got to kill everything. Yeah, 2 Zandatsu, 600, yeah, but only 500 points off, even with the no damage bonus. I barely made that. I barely made that. That was a very close fight. So yeah, that was spooky kabuki. I was really panicking in that fight. So I had quite a few close calls in this mission. I was trying to sneak past these guys, and I realized it would be faster if I just killed them. So I just go in. This is not a ranked fight though. I just clean up these clowns. Next fight is gonna take some explaining, so I'll start now. There's gonna be 2 Mastiffs, 2 Blade Wolves, or whatever the hell they're called. Don't remember what they're called. Blade Wolves, I guess. And then there's gonna be, like, just some random mook with a machine gun, right? So, we're gonna assassinate the guy with the machine gun before the mission starts. There's gonna be 3 Mastiffs, actually. Then we're gonna assassinate another Mastiff before the fight starts. Then we're gonna cover the first 2 Mastiffs in smoke, and kill them so that when the Blade Wolves come down, we can deal with them independently. So here we're gonna just cut this guy up, let him die from down here, and then we're gonna go for this Mastiff assassinate before the other 2 Mastiffs see us. This is a fight that actually can be done, and you can get an S rank on it pretty simply, actually, even with taking damage. So this fight's actually not too unforgiving, but it is, you know, there's a lot of, like, small things that could go wrong in it. However, do keep in mind that this fight can be done even when you take damage, and I'll explain how. So, now the Blade Wolves are going to spawn in, so I'm just, like, taking care of the Mastiffs as fast as I can, and then we're going to go fight the Blade Wolves. As long as you get, like, 3 Zandatsus, I think that's enough to to get the S rank here. Funny enough, I actually beat this no damage, but I was expecting to take hits. So the hardest part of this mission is battle points. Every time you beat it, you'll have everything maxed out, but not battle points. There's a little hidden chest over here where when the fight starts, if you run down and grab these hollow chip, you can get the battle points, and that will give you all the battle points you need for the mission, basically. So then at that point, just get your combo and get your Zandatsus, and the mission should be good. Again, I beat this actually with no damage, so I was able to carry my no damage bonus over, but I think even with no damage, I might have S-ranked this. Let me see. No, my combo is actually too short, so you only need 2 Zandatsus to S-rank this. So really, you just need a Zandatsu each of the Blade Wolves. Make sure you pick up that hollow chip, and then make sure you get a 50-hit combo, probably about 50 hits. And at that point, yeah, that's an S-rank right there. So another fight that's actually pretty forgiving, but if you're able to beat it no damage, oh, hey, hell yeah, go for it, free bonus. But it's a fight that's not easy to beat no damage, so you really should, what was the word I'm looking for? It's a fight that's, it's not easy to beat it no damage, so it's good to have a backup. It's good to know how to beat it if you did take a hit, you know what I mean? So this next fight's also going to be pretty easy. Well, I think pretty easy. Here's the thing, I've never fucked this fight up. I've S-ranked this fight every single time. However, because there is a rocket launcher guy on a roof, just due to the nature of how... Yeah, I'm saying they're like, skip, skip, skip. Just due to the nature of how these fights work, just due to the nature of there being the existence of a man firing a rocket launcher at you, or as Big Benedict would call them, due to the existence of a bazooka-wielding foe, you could just take damage here and get fucked, idiot. So, if you wanted to... In this fight, it's really just important. This is a fight that's you're very capable of getting an S rank in, even if you do take damage. The big important thing is just make sure you use Zandatsu every enemy, and make sure you get a pretty good amount of combo on the last enemy alive. This is the last enemy alive, so if I was going for a combo, I would Ripper mode, Blade mode, and then cut him up until my meter ran out. However, because he was the last guy, let's pause. Because he was the last guy, and I knew I was going to get no damage, I just finished him off. But look at that. I've got 1,000 and everything except for Zandatsu, because I did miss one Zandatsu, and my combo was very low, so I only got minimal combo points for that. But like I said, if you do take some damage, just make sure you Zandatsu every enemy, and make sure that on the last guy alive, you go Ripper mode, Blade mode, just build up some combo on him. This part right here, this is actually a ranked fight, believe it or not. An incredibly forgiving one. I've never not S-ranked it, even when I thought I would fail to S-rank it, because people just kept walking away from me. But you do need to kill all the enemies in this area while Raiden is in his, like, debilitated state. Or else you are basically skipping a fight and you won't get your S rank. However, it's pretty easy to do. I've seen some people do runs of this game and they'll be like, yeah, I use the HF blade because the Muramasa blade's cheap, but I use the Muramasa blade here because it just kills things faster. And it's like, nah, I mean, this part's so easy that, like, you might as well just keep the run pure and stick with the HF blade, you know what I mean? Just keep Raiden's default weapon, you know. Well, the Muramasa blade, that's not my sword. But anyway, you know, you hit these guys, go around. There is the guys with the machine guns are going to be very, very, very menacing in this. Because, yeah, menacing. They'll be problematic because they say the N-word a lot. No, they like to shoot at you and walk backwards. And in your current, like, movement speed state, you can't really catch them. They'll just walk away from you and shoot you and stun lock you. So if you go into Ripper mode, though, you won't be stun locked by their bullets. So if one guy does start... So I like to save my Ripper mode here for if one of these guys with machine guns does start to see me and then just walk away from me like a dickhead. I go into Ripper mode so that I can keep walking at him and then show him what for. But even if this part does take you like 20 years to complete, you'll very likely still probably get the S. Like, just for completing it, you basically get the S. It's pretty forgiving. You know, don't take too long though, you know. So like this guy right here, he's like, I think he's there's one more guy after him, but like this is what I'm talking about. See how he's just like walking away from me and shooting at me? So I'm gonna go Ripper mode so his shots don't stun me. That was kind of a waste of Ripper mode actually, because he had to reload his gun. But either way, I didn't want to take any chances. I wanted to make sure he was going down. Waste as little time as possible. And then there's going to be one more guy coming out of these stairs down here. So if you pass these stairs, I actually think it loads the next part of the mission, which means it might cancel out your... it might cancel out you getting the S rank here. So if possible, I would try not to cross the border at the top of the stairs This guy's walking real close to it, so I'm getting kind of worried. But like, so you can go to the top tiers, but see how there's that border where like there's like a sliding gate and you can like cross it. I was kind of worried that if I crossed it, it would cancel out my win on this fight, but the guy didn't walk far enough back, so. And there we go. Boom, look at that. S rank basically for free. And then once you cross the border of this like area, now you can't die anymore. Once it goes boom, and then yeah, it says objective eliminate all enemies. Now you can't die anymore. So also, funny thing to notice, see this guy on the left who's just wailing on me? For some reason, his machete isn't there. It's like invisible. So it looks like he's just like fucking doing a big wind-up punch, like clocking me in the head like he's a fucking Looney Tunes character. so I'm getting smacked around by like Elmer Fudd over here and his like two like fucking assistants. Yeah, this whole part you can't die though. What's also really kind of funny is that there's going to be a part where Monsoon comes and starts lecturing you. And in the console version of this game, you can skip that cutscene. And you can skip that monologue. But here, on the PC version, you can't skip the monologue. So, okay, now, all right, now they're being very polite. Uh-oh, Jetstream Sam showed up. We gotta let him out. We gotta let him out, have a little talk. But yeah, you can't skip any of this. You could skip this part right here in the when Monsoon starts lecturing you. You can skip that in the console version. You can't skip that here. So you just have to sit here and watch it. This was another reason I thought I would dread this mission, because I was thinking to myself, oh god, if I have to redo this mission like 10 or 15 times, whoa, having to listen to Monsoon's gonna get old. But I beat it this time because Monsoon is a very easy boss. Not easy to take no damage on, because there's a lot of ways he can chip you. He's got a couple of attack strings where there are some attacks that come out kind of quick, and you're like, oh, you might not be ready for them. When you're ready for them, they're not that hard to parry, but, you know, sometimes you might not be ready for them. They even get me now and again, and I'm a pro. But he's also got this red phosphorus he throws down, which you can avoid, like, most of the time, but every once in a while, for some reason, even when I dodge it, I'll be in my dodge animation, and I'll just notice that, like, I still lost, like, 0.5% of my health, and I'll be like, why? So it can be a bit annoying to try to no damage Monsoon. Luckily, you don't need to no damage him to get the S rank. He's a very forgiving fight to do taking damage and still getting your S rank on him. Funny enough, I throw a lot of EMP grenades at Monsoon in this fight, because when you cut up the stuff he throws at you, they drop EMP grenades. But you can actually use his Psy against him to stun him the way EMPs do. And I didn't figure that out until having to fight his clone in the Sundowner level. So I spent this whole mission throwing EMPs at him. But if the biggest thing you're worried about is, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna have enough BP at the end of the mission because I don't pick any of the EMPs he drops down and get BP for them. If you're worried about that, just use his Psy against him to stun him and then switch to the Sundowner Scissors. There's a much better example of how to do this fight well in the Sundowner mission. When you're like, why am I getting hit by that? You see, like, so it's he'll get a cheap hit in now and again. He's a cheeky little fuck like that. But yeah. So in the Sundowner mission, I think I do a much cleaner example of a better way to fight Monsoon. But you know, like I said, I'm not a pro at the game yet. I'm still in training when it comes to this mission. But Monsoon's pretty simple. Just kind of wail on him, parry his stuff. He's pretty simple. Get some hits here, build some combo. And then he'll just start throwing, like, helicopters and, what are they called? ATVs? SCVs? I don't remember. He'll start throwing, like, big 8-wheeler, like, trucks at you. Those transport vehicles. Yeah, those ones. When you cut these up, they drop both healing nano paste. They'll either drop healing nano paste or they will drop EMPs. If you have full healing nano paste and you have full EMPs, picking that up will give you battle points. So the only thing I could say about this mission, really, is that you probably want to make sure that you can get as many battle points as you can, because the combo is relatively forgiving, the time is relatively forgiving, yeah, so see, he comes down and he's going to start avoiding all your hits, so, you know, I EMP him, and then I use Sundowner Scissors to do a big burst of damage to him right here. If you go for the third slash of the Sundowner Scissors, and you don't even charge the first two, you go 1-2 and then charge the third, you actually get more damage, but at this point in time, I was doing 1 slash and then full charging the second. Anyway, so yeah, so just cut these up, get the stuff he drops, the nano paste and the EMPs. Like I was saying, the time is forgiving, the combo is forgiving, there's no Zandatsu requirement, so at that point, and the kill is necessary. You know, you're gonna have to kill Monsoon to win. So at that point, the only thing you need to worry about is time and BP. And like I said, time BP and combo. But time and combo are very forgiving. And while I get the S rank here, collecting enough BP, if you're worried that you might not be able to get the BP requirement for some reason, just use the Monsoon Sai instead of EM grenades, and that will make it so that every time his like things he throws at you drops EMPs, you'll always get battle points from those. Also, right here with like this big thing, keep in mind you also build battle points for how many pieces you cut things into. So when he throws these wheels at you, I do make sure that I use the entire duration to cut the wheels into as many pieces as I can, because you will get more battle points the more parts you cut the wheels into. So do keep that in mind. You do not want to just cut the wheels once and let it go. You definitely want to use, excuse me, your whole blade mode duration. Yeah, he's hitting me again here. You know, what a motherfucker, right? I'm gonna roll that at him, hit him, go up. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh, he's so evasive. I suck. All right, let's go for round 2. There we go. And that's basically the entire Monsoon fight right here. When he's in a state where you can hit him with an EMP, hit him with an EMP, and then knock his head off to stun him, go do big damage with Sundowner Scissors, then he'll jump away and throw shit at you. Cut the shit up he throws at you, collect the treasures that come out, throw an EMP at him, smack him in the head, Sundowner Scissors, rinse, repeat. That's the entire fight. There'll be a quick time event in the very end. Do the quick time event, and like I said, just like with the wheels, you want to cut the wheels up into as many parts as possible. When you get to the quick time event where you have to cut Monsoon up, do try to cut him up into as many parts as possible. And that's just added battle points, and since I don't know exactly how many battle points you need to get this, but every other stat is pretty forgiving, you know, no reason to not cut him up into as many pieces as you can to get that battle point. The rest of the fight kind of speaks for itself, so I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab another drink. So I finished my first beer. Alright, I'm back. I hope you didn't miss me too much. Looks like I'm still fighting Sundowner. Yeah, man, this fight goes on forever, dude. And I could probably beat it even faster. I'm sure if you watch some, like, speed run of this game, you'd find that, like, my Monsoon fighting tactics are lacking. You'd be like, oh my god, this Givens guy sucks at fighting Monsoon. His fight took forever. But I do get my S rank, so, you know, it works. Big wheel. Parry the wheel twice, jump up, cut into as many pieces as you can. That's free battle points right there. Also counts towards your combo. I mean, granted, I think I get more combo cutting Monsoon up in the very end than I do even just like fighting Monsoon normally during the fight, so like it doesn't fucking matter. Like all the combo you need really comes from this very, very last part right here. But, you know, like I said, combo and the amount of things you cut things into go towards battle points, so getting the high combo and the high cut on the wheels is good. It's essential for victory. Look at that. Like, we're in cutscene and it's still building. So it's like, now cut him up, but you start with the 9 combo head start. Like, I'm pretty sure I like, build my largest combo just right here. So I think I get, like, maybe 32 hits on him earlier. Yeah, and the 35 hits here. So, like, the 36 hits. So, like, the biggest combo I get on Monsoon in this whole fight is in the very end when I, like, finish him off. And look at that. Look at that score. 6 minutes, full points. BP, 1.2k, full points. Longest combo, 36. I got full points for my longest combo on Monsoon being the final hit. Like, so combo doesn't even matter in this fight. Fuck it. Combo doesn't even matter in this fight. What matters is the BP, because the time, look how generous the time is. You're gonna get the kill, no problem. Longest combo you just get for free in the end. The only thing that matters is battle points in this fight. So make sure you're collecting those EM grenade he drops, and make sure you're cutting things into a lot of pieces. So now this next mission coming up is the Sundowner mission. This mission took me, no joke, like 10 hours of practicing to get it. Not in one day, of course, you know, like I would come home after work and play it for like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, and then be like, oh fuck, and it took me like a whole week to like actually, before I finally got it. So this mission I would estimate took me about 10 hours to finally get down in a single segment. Look at that time, it takes like 33 minutes to beat. It's a mission that takes like half an hour to beat even when you do it well. This mission takes a while, and you gotta do it all without fucking up. Too bad. Oof, yeah, it's not easy. So, yeah, this first fight, pretty simple. The fight after that is one of the most infamous fights in this game, but it's only infamous because all the people who talk about video games online suck at video games, alright? You ever go onto, like, Reddit or something? This first fight can speak for itself, by the way. I'm gonna cut these guys up, Zandatsu them, get a combo, some Blade Wolves are gonna come down, blah, but this fight speaks for itself. You see me play this game enough now that you know the different, you know all of the requirements to get S ranks. It's combo, battle point, Zandatsu's time, and then whatever the other one is. The kills. So you know how to get S ranks now. What I'm doing speaks for itself. So you know what's really fucking frustrating? When you're playing a game or something and you're like, oh man, and you like look up something about the game, and like you get like a Reddit link of some guy asking the same question, and then all the people talking about the game on this Reddit thread are people who clearly fucking suck at the game. Like, that happens so much with this game, where they would be like, oh, just use this, just use that. Or they would be like, oh, I just do this versus whatever. And it's like, you can't do that on Revengeance difficulty. It doesn't fucking work. Like, it's just so wild. And then you see people, like, making fun of the guy asking the questions, like, oh, you had trouble with this? Like, and it's like, yeah, because it's hard to do. Like, no, I'm not saying that I've done this. I don't post on Reddit. But it's just, like, it's so frustrating seeing people, like, make fun of people with, like, or tease people or make fun of people who have legitimate questions about actually difficult things. Or, where's this guy going? Where's the Blade Wolf going, right? It's so wild. It's just so frustrating seeing people, like, who clearly, just by the comments they make, suck at the game they're playing, and they feel like they're gonna sit here and fucking, like, tell you how silly you sound for asking these questions. Like, fuck off. Like, I remember, this actually happened to me once. It was Yakuza Kiwami. Yakuza Kiwami is notorious for bosses having fucking super armor that just goes through shit. It's fucking obnoxious. So I went, after playing it on the hardest difficulty, and I was asking, like, hey guys, am I just bad, or is the first Majima fight, like, really, really, really obnoxious? And there were so many people that were like, lol, sounds like you're just bad, just do this, just do this, just do this. And everyone was making fun of me. And I was like, no, I'm playing on the hardest, this is the fight that everyone says is hard, so I'm gonna pause for a sec. Everyone was going, oh, dude, it's so easy, just do this, just do this. Majima's the first fight, lol, this guy's getting filtered by the tutorial boss. Before someone else finally chimed in and was like, no, dude, you're right. When you play on the hardest difficulty, the early bosses have moves that totally fuck you over before you have enough experience points to buy the dodges and the dodge counters and the parry moves that allow you to deal with their super armored bullshit. So they were like, yes, you are correct. The first Majima fight, when you're playing on the hardest difficulty, is really, really, really fucking frustrating because Kiwami is notorious for having bosses just throw fuck tons of super armored moves at you in the middle of your combos and taking virtually no hit stun. The remake is notorious for that. And he was like, so yeah, you're not fucking crazy. Majima is just that annoying. And yes, he is that tedious to have to beat on the hardest difficulty. Just do what you're doing, but play more patiently. And I'm like, wow, okay, thanks, I appreciate it. But I got so many people in that thread being like, oh, sounds like you suck. Oh, wow, imagine getting filtered by the first boss. And it's like, oh yeah, imagine sitting here talking shit about someone when you haven't played the game on higher than baby mode. Yeah, I beat the game on baby mode, and I'm gonna tell you why the first boss is so easy. Oh wow, was it? Wow, I'm happy for you played on fucking baby mode. Oh, what's this? Is the magic user in Dark Souls about to tell me that fucking like Aurel Stein and Smaug isn't a very hard fight? Yeah, no, just sit back and like throw spears at Smaug until like you only have to fight Aurel Stein. Like, what? Oh yeah, wow, thanks, magic user. You must have like fucking really had to play the fight like the same way everyone else. They're like, fuck off. Not that I'm saying that if you use a magic build in Dark Souls that you're playing the game wrong. I love Dark Souls, and I think the people who gatekeep it for doing bad builds or whatever are fucking retards. If you have fun doing a magic build, I think that's fucking sick. Dark Souls is one of my favorite games, and I don't even think Dark Souls is that hard like everyone else does. So if you're gonna play and use a magic build because that's what you enjoy, fucking more power to you. All the people who gatekeep and act like Dark Souls is the hardest game of all time are fucking losers who suck at video games. However, if you're a magic user and you're about to tell me that X boss isn't hard, oh yeah, okay, shut the fuck up. Because I highly doubt that beating the boss with like A fucking longsword and no shield is a little bit harder than beating it with a giant crystal soul spear, motherfucker. Anyway, this fight is notorious in this game for being difficult. It is not that difficult. This fight is not fucking hard. This fight, anyone who thinks this fight is hard are people who are, this is why I said earlier, checkpoint user detected. Everyone who says this fight is hard, checkpoint user detected. Because when you learn how to route this fight, it is so fucking simple. It takes a long time, but it's so fucking simple. Anyone who thinks this fight is hard is someone who sat there reloading the checkpoint until they finally got the S rank, and then they just never played the fight again. And they're like, woof, yeah, that was hard. But when you are forced to do this fight over and over and over and over again, over the course of like 10 to 12 hours, while trying to single segment this mission, you come to realize how fucking easy this fight is, and that it literally just is a time sink, all right? So I'm going to explain bit by bit how to go over this fight and why it's not that hard, so that anyone who plays this can go, oh yeah, that fight's not that bad. All right, you ready? You ready? Sorry about the long pause. So we got all these enemies spawning in. You're going to jump on the turret here. First thing, break the shield of the guy down here and shoot him. Let the other shield guy live, but kill this one. Kill this shield guy. Go up to the top right guy with the machine gun and kill him. Once you've done that, 3 sliders are going to spawn in, right up by the top left guy. Go shoot the top left guy, and the sliders, whoop, will fly right up into your crosshair. Look at that. Perfect timing, right? Perfect timing. And then the 3rd slider comes in, knock him off the slider. Don't kill the people on the sliders, though, because you need them for the Zandatsu bonus. So at this point, while the Zandatsu guys haven't showed up yet, just run around and collect all the battle points from all the weapons in the corridors. And now that the mooks are showing up, just Zandatsu all the mooks. I think you need like 4 Zandatsus, 5 Zandatsus to get the Zandatsu max rank on this. And there's plenty of guys to do it on. So once the guys show up, just run up and Zandatsu all the guys. So once the first half of the fight is over, you blow the shield guy, you kill the, you destroy the sliders, but don't kill the guys flying the sliders. Go and Zandatsu all the guys, and go and collect all of the battle point weapons inside the crates. Going for no damage in this is tedious, and it's just not gonna happen. It's just like, unless you want to like do some like really, really tedious, lame strategies, like no damaging this is impossible. Don't even worry about it. Just fucking worry about fulfilling the conditions that are all incredibly forgiving. So now we want to save this guy for last, because once we kill this guy, 3 more guys are going to spawn in. 2 with a machine gun, 1 with a rocket launcher. Rocket launcher guy's going to be on the top right. Kill the rocket launcher guy. The rocket launcher guys are key to this, because whenever you kill a rocket launcher guy, that spawns the next wave of enemies. So if I killed both these machine gun guys and then left the rocket launcher guy alive, no one else would spawn. But if I kill the rocket launcher guy, people spawn. Rocket launcher guy is also the only threat while you're on the machine gun. So kill the rocket launcher guy, and then instantly throw a smoke grenade on the bottom floor. Because you know what's going to be down there? Oh, look, it's 2 rocket launcher guys, 2 bazooka-wielding foes. So then you're going to kill them through the smoke. There we go. Kill the second one through the smoke, and that's going to spawn in 2 mastiffs. This is kind of a frustrating part of the fight, because the mastiffs do their jump attack, but they get stuck on geometry. So they jump in the air, and then they either like teleport into your face and instantly hit you and it's unreactable, or they jump up and then they miss their swing and now you look stupid. So what I like to do is just charge up the Sundowner Scissors and go into blade mode, unless a machine gun guy shoots you in the face and you're like, oh no, I've been staggered out of my hit. So now I have to fight the 2 mastiffs in this like tiny little fucking hallway, and that's not ideal. Where's the second mastiff there? Where's the second mastiff? Oh no, command grab, don't do it. He almost knocked me in the elevator. If this mastiff, by the way, if you get knocked in the elevator, that ends the fight. I have had that happen on multiple occasions where one of the mastiffs jumps in and knocks me backwards. I get stunned. The second mastiff jumps in, does drop kick on me, and I get drop kicked into the elevator. It's like a fucking comedy sketch where they like kick me out of the fight. It's really crazy, but anyway, so there you go. Just kill the mastiffs. Now, you're going to kill both of these guys up on the tower. But I switched to EMPs because the second we kill both of these guys, the grad is going to show up. And that is the part that everybody says, the grad is so stupid. I can't beat the grad. It's so overpowered. I'm going to show you right now how to beat the grad, all right? Instantly, throw an EMP. This part's not necessary. Helps you with some free damage, though. Grad shows up, shoot the grad. So the grad's going to fire a shit ton of micro missiles at you. Those are just going to do damage. You're just going to have to eat those. Whatever, just ignore them. He's also going to shoot these red missiles at you. See these glowing red missiles he fires at me? I stop aiming at the grad occasionally to go fire those red missiles. If you do not shoot those red missiles out of the air, they will come and hit you and they will kill you. That is what kills people 99% of the time. See how I'm just not shooting the one on the left and did much damage to me. Anyway, here's the thing about the grad. When the grad is far away from you or at a mid-range, those red missiles will always hit you. So you need to shoot them out of the air. Like right there, I shot one out of the air. Right there, I need to shoot that one out of the air. I try to, but I miss it, and it hits me and does a bunch of damage, see? When the grad is at a mid-range or far away, you need to shoot those red missiles out of the air because they will do a lot of damage to you. However, when the grad is right up in your face, the red missiles will miss you. So this is actually, the grad is dead, but let's go back for a second and see how the grad was up in my face right here. I don't bother shooting the red missiles right here because they're going to miss me because the grad is point blank. When the grad is at like the reception desk area about mid-range or in front of the reception desk, right now he's behind it. When he's in front of it or like next to it, I would say he's far enough away you need to shoot the red missiles. But when he's in your face like this, don't even bother. You don't need to bother shooting the red missiles because they will often hit the balcony and they'll miss you. That's the whole fight right there. So you see, I had to use one of my healing pastes right there. I'd use 2 of my healing pastes right there. So, alright, yeah, get fucked me. I'd use 2 of my healing pastes, and I grab a spare healing paste right there. And S rank, boom, look at that. 3 minutes, 50 seconds, 1,000 points. BP, 4,000, 1,000 points. You're just gonna get BP because of the high combo. Combo 431, I think you only need like a 100 hit combo or some shit to get the max points. So like, that's just gonna come with time. Kills 19, you can't not kill anything. Zandatsu's just gonna come when the enemies run up to you. This fight is a freebie. This fight is a fucking freebie. And everyone on the internet talks about this fight like it's the boogeyman of Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. Like it's the hardest fight in the game, alright? It's not. Those people are fucking checkpoint users, alright? And little babies. It's a turret section, alright? The fight is a turret section. Let's go back to the beginning and recap this fight, alright? So you know just how easy it is when you're a pro player like me. And by the way, like I said earlier, once you get to the from the Sundowner mission on, this is pro Gibbons now, all right? I've spent like fucking 12 hours practicing the Sundowner mission. I'm 12 hours stronger now than I was in the last mission we just played. All right, first, shoot the guy down there with the shield and kill him. Shoot the guy on the right and kill him. And then shoot the guy there. Get rid of the 3 sliders, but don't kill the guys on the sliders. Go around and then collect all the battle points. Guys are going to show up and try to, like, fuck with you while you're collecting battle points. Free Zandatsu's literal non-threat. Thanks for the free healing, dummy, all right? Kill all the dummies, get your free healing, go and kill the first guy. Next, immediately go to the right, kill the guy with the rocket launcher. That's the guy who's important to kill. Kill the guy with the rocket launcher, all right? Smoke grenade, instantly, once he's dead, smoke grenade, because there's 2 more guys in rocket launchers. Kill both the guys with the rocket launcher. Oh no, they're in the smoke, they're gonna die. What are they gonna do? What are they gonna do? Watch out, here come the Mastiffs. Oh, I've been stun locked. Just kill the Mastiffs. You know, this is whatever, however you want to do it. I use the Sundowner Scissors, and in a perfect world where this fight goes well, I actually use the Sundowner Scissors and hit them when they leap in at me, and I get them, and I never get knocked back. And the fight goes perfectly with no downtime. I don't get slapped around like I do right here. Or I panic about getting knocked into an elevator. But, you know, beat up the Mastiffs, get your Zandatsus on the Mastiffs, then go back and kill the last 2 guys, and once the last 2 guys are dead, go for the grad. And the grad is the part everyone says is hard. The grad is not that hard. You just need to shoot the missiles out of the air, alright? Shoot the missiles out of the air. The grad is back there, he's gonna fire red missiles. Uh-oh, red missiles, bam, bam, I shot them both out of the air. No red missile today, grad, red missile, bam, shot out of the air. No red missile today. Grad is point blank, don't need to worry about red missiles. Focus your fire on the grad. Red missile, don't care. It's not going to hit me. Keep firing the grad. The micro missiles, those are going to hit you. Fuck the micro missiles. Ignore them. There's nothing you can do about those. Hit the grad. Hit the grad. Red missiles, don't care. They're not going to hit me. The grad is close. Red missile, not going to hit me. Don't care. The grad is close. Grad is still close. Red missiles, don't care. The grad is close. Oh, grad is at mid-range. Now the red missiles can hit me. So now I need to shoot the red missiles. But if I don't shoot the red missile, I miss that one right there. Oof, I get hit. If you stop shooting the gun, you can actually move the camera faster. So if you need to, like, snap onto something, stop shooting for a second, go move over to it, and then keep shooting it. But I have enough nano paste here, and I knew the grad was low enough that I knew I could tank these last couple of red missiles. And boom, grad dead. That fight is so easy. That fight is so fucking easy. That fight is a gimme. It takes 6.5 minutes, so it's tedious. But anyone telling you that fight is hard is a checkpoint user who hasn't had to do it 20 times, and they beat it once, and they were like, well, that was hard because it took the longest. Fuck them. I'm kidding. I know I'm getting more hostile as the night goes on, and I get a little bit more intoxicated, but that fight's not hard. It blows my mind seeing how many people talk about how that's the hardest fight on the planet. It's not. It's not. The Japanese garden fight in this mission is way more unforgiving and way more difficult. And if you fuck that mission up and you're doing a single segment run, guess what? You have to restart the entire mission. I hope you enjoyed the 15 minutes getting back up to the Japanese garden. Like, ooh, boy. Anyway, this is a stealth section. This is just the way that I have found the most efficient to kill the enemies in the fastest way possible. There's like 3 massives here in a custom. You don't want to have to fight these enemies. So I've experimented with going through this killing all the enemies and going through this with stealthing all the enemies. Stealthing them is faster. Stealthing them is usually faster and less prone to fuck-ups. So, you know, going back a little bit, there's the first Mastiff. Once he rounds the corner, we have the first Mastiff looking at us. You know, that Mastiff is gonna, he's gonna turn around. Come on, turn around, turn around, turn around, turn around. Let's go, let's go, let's go, buddy. Let's go, let's buddy. Turn around. Then we're gonna run into the next room. We do a jump so that we can maintain our speed while not having footsteps. Run up, stab the first one. Box. Oh, stab the second one. Oh, okay. Oh, he's dead. Look, there he goes. Wait for the third one to turn around. Walk up behind him, stab the custom, and then boom. Now we're back where we were before I started jumping around with the, with my like 10-second jump controls in VLC. So, that's all the enemy stealthed. Real simple, real easy, real good, right? Now we're gonna kill the power conduits, but I killed the one in this room, and then I killed the one in the like conference room with the table on it next, because there's always gonna be a hammer guy that spawns next to the last conduit you need to destroy, and he is gonna start the engagement, the ranked fight. So I like to run over here because that puts him in the easiest position to get a first hit on him before he sees me, and I can cut him up at the start of the ranked fight. So there's going to be 2 more enemies to fight here. There's going to be a raptor and another hammer guy. However, the raptor always spawns in the same place. So once we've killed this guy quickly, we can run over to where the raptor spawns, and we can cut up the raptor and then go fight the last guy. This fight is, this part of the mission is pretty easy to take no damage on. So even though I think we don't meet like the BP and the combo requirement, the no damage is going to carry us up there. So yeah, then the raptor comes out, so we're going to hit the raptor, cut his legs off, and then boom. Oh man, what am I doing? Knocking the raptor in the room with this guy? What a fool I am. You have to be very careful because sometimes when you use Zandatsu raptors, the dwarf gecko in them survives. So I actually run out of the room, yeah, because there's a dwarf gecko. I've had that dwarf gecko ruin my no damage run before because I forgot that they can pop out, and then one grabs me while I'm fighting this guy and I take damage. But you know, that's pretty simple. Speaks for itself. Ripper mode, kill the first hammer guy. Make sure you Zandatsu all of them. I see, so there's only 3 Zandatsus, and I didn't max out my rank. That's because the guys I was fighting earlier, because we were in stealth, that didn't count as combat. So the game, in order to give you a ranking for this fight, expects you to be in combat without stealthing the whole area. So it's like that's kind of one of the weird things about this game, is that the game is like, oh, Metal Gear Rising. It's a Metal Gear game, so we gotta have stealth in it, right? But then if you stealth, it's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. This ranking sucks. So like you have to know damage. And a lot of times if you stealth, you have to know damage. But again, no damage is very trivial in this fight. It's just 3 guys, and they're all isolated. No one should ever lose. No one should ever beat Raiden in a fight in a 1v1. If there's an isolated enemy, you have no excuse to lose, unless they're a Mastiff and you're me. But other than that, yeah, no, that's a simple fight. Speaks for itself. This next part, we're just going to run through this area. We're not going to kill anything until the very end when there's a grad. This section of the mission right here, if you just run through it and don't fight anything, you'll beat it fast enough that the time bonus alone, I think, will give you an S rank. So we don't even bother fighting the enemies here, because we just have to get all the way to the top of the building, where the arguably hardest fight in the game is. Well, okay, not hardest fight in the game, but like the hardest thing, like normal mook, like engagement. The one where there's the most very prone to accidents. The fight that definitely killed me the most in this run. I cannot tell you how many times I got to this mission, got all the way up to the Japanese garden fight, and then lost on it and had to restart the whole mission. 15 minutes wasted, and I gotta do it again. I gotta do 15 minutes again to get up to it, you know? It's frustrating. So, but this part is pretty simple. Just run through. You can technically take no damage here, but you don't need to, so I wouldn't bother learning how to route this running section and taking no damage, especially since it just feels random half the time anyway, so it's just, whatever, run through. And it is important, though, that you switch to Monsoon's side, because when we get to the end, there's going to be a grad, and we are going to take out that grad before it becomes an issue. Like, hello, Raiden, like, boss fight, oh, no, yeah, no boss fight time, sorry, I don't feel like fighting a boss right now, I'm out of here, bye-bye. So I just ain't gonna fuck with it. I'm not even gonna go for the Zandatsu. I don't need the Zandatsu. I'm just gonna get the hell out of here. And then, like I said, I think that if you just run through this as fast as possible, you literally get an S rank just off of like completion time. So, literally not worth it to fight anything. And then running up this building, I've never actually fallen off this building. Like I've seen some people say, they're like, oh yeah, if you do like jump while you're going up the building, it lessens the amount of red circles, but like I've literally never hit one of those red circles ever. So that running part feels like you shouldn't need any like gimmicks to get through. And then look at this, like 5,000 on time alone. Like, even if I got 0 kills, which it forces you to get kills on the sliders in the end, and then it forces you to get BP because you killed the sliders. Like, just with time alone, I S-ranked that, but... So that's a very easy section. That's a gimme. That's a gimme S rank. This next fight is the hardest fight in this mission, in my opinion, and it took me the longest to learn how I wanted to route it. So, let me put this into perspective before we get into the fight. One second, I gotta take a sip. I gotta wet my whistle, you know? The RPG enemies are the most frustrating enemies in this whole fucking game. They shoot rockets at you that lightly home onto you, and they spin around in the air, meaning that even if I recorded my inputs for this fight, all right, and I ran it, because 2 rocket guys are going to spawn immediately. If I recorded my inputs to run at these rocket guys in this fight, and my movement avoided those rockets, I could replay this fight 10 more times using the exact inputs, and 1 out of those 10 times, a rocket would still hit me. Just because the rockets are fucking... They're just annoying. They just sometimes wildly spin at you and they hit you and, like, get fucking wrecked retard. And there can be people out there like, hey, I've never had problems with rockets. Yeah, shut up. Yeah, you have. Like, don't try to pretend like the rocket guys aren't annoying and haven't hit you when you've been, like, running perpendicular to them and you're jumping and you're also dodging, and the rocket's like, I will just crazy spin and then, like, meaty the shit out of you with splash damage. Like, it happens. It happens to the best of us, all right? I know that because I'm one of the best of us, and it happens to me. But anyway, there's 4 rocket guys in this, and they are really annoying. So this fight is also extremely brutal. If you take damage in this fight, you basically need to get no kills, because the time requirement is really, really small. And the, like, I think even battle point requirement, maybe it was, is also kind of unforgiving. This is a fight that's notorious for being hard to S-rank. So here's how I do it. I start off the fight going for no kills and no damage. If I get up to the last custom fight before the Mastiffs that spawn in and I haven't taken damage, I will oftentimes kill the guy and forfeit the no kills and just go for no damage, because then I can use Ripper mode on the Mastiffs. That's how I used to do it, but I've refined my tactics since then, and I've come up with a very consistent way to win this fight, S rank, getting no damage and no kills. So here we go. First thing, important, run to the left side and jump on this rock and then jump again. That gives you enough height to very consistently avoid the rockets, because they won't aim down fast enough to shoot you. They'll still hit you 1 out of 10 times, but it's really consistent. Again, we're going for no kills, so cut their legs off, but don't actually go up and kill them. This guy as well, we're going for no kills, so we're gonna cut him up a little bit. The reason we're hitting him like this is because we're building combo, but most importantly, we're building meter. See his arm? We're going to cut the arm off so he can't parry us. Now that he can't parry us anymore, he's literally just a sandbag to beat up. So we're going to beat him up until we can take his leg off. Once we've taken his leg off, we're going to hit him enough to get our Ripper mode maxed, and then we're going to leave him. That's our no kill. Once he's gone, 2 more guys with rocket launchers are going to spawn back here instantly. Jump the second they spawn to try to avoid the rockets. Sometimes they'll still hit you, though, because, haha, rocket guys. And this guy, I'm literally waiting for him to shoot the rocket, because the Desperado guys are total cunts. Most guys in the early game will shoot rockets at you only if they don't take splash damage. Desperado units are immune to their own splash damage, so you can be point blank and still they will fire a rocket at you, so you need to wait for those guys to fire their rockets. This last guy, if you go close to him, you'll be ambushed by 2 Mastiffs. So rather than trying to fight him with 2 Mastiffs, we're going to lure him down here with a rocket. Now, we've taken no damage at this point, which means if we wanted to, we could forfeit the no kills and just go for no damage. However, because I'm such a gamer and I've, like, refined my meter building to such a level where I can get this guy to a point where I can cut his leg off and put him in a state of no kill. So we're going to cut his leg off. We're going to hit him. We're not going to kill him. We're going to hit him until we have red meter and leave him. He's in a non-kill state. But before these Mastiffs show up, now we're going to equip our Sundowner Blade, and we're going to equip a red Phosphorus. The game locked on him because he's clearly a threat. And then we're going to throw our grenade and instantly run up to spawn the Mastiffs. Mastiffs are going to spawn in. Sundowner Scissors come out. 1 fully charged Sundowner Scissors attack while you're in Ripper mode will put a Mastiff into his Ondatsu state and kill him. So just run up and do a level 1 or a first hit, full charge on both Mastiffs to kill them. Grab the Zondatsu in the end for the extra points on your scorecard. And that's the fight. That is how I get the S rank in the fight. I go for both no damage and no kills. And 6.4k, look at this. 2-minute fight, 750. Like, I've done this fast, and I've still got, like, 900 on time. The time is brutal. Battle points can also be pretty rough to get if you're not going for, if you're going for no kills. Longest combo, 50 is where you want to reach. Kills, of course, we didn't get too many points on it because we only killed the Mastiffs, but because we got 500 points, the no kills bonus is going to give us 1,000 points to fill places in. No damage, no kills, good. But even if I got no kills, even if I took damage here and I went for no kills, I think I still would have gotten it. Let's say we take 1.5k out. 1,000 will take us... No, actually, if I didn't get no damage and no kills here, I would not have got the S rank. So this fight's rough. This is a brutal fight. This is why I go for no damage and no kills on it. Because if you're going for no damage and no kills and you still take damage, you can still be like, oof, all right, I can try to salvage this fight with no kills by getting like a high combo on the Mastiffs in the end, or Zandatsuing both Mastiffs. If you Zandatsu both Mastiffs, or you like get the full 50 hit combo, that'll bring your points up just enough that even with only no kills, you can still get the S rank. But that's a brutal fight. That is a brutal fight. It really is. So, you know, if you're a gamer trying to figure out how to S rank that fight and you're watching this video, go back and rewatch that fight. Run to the left, jump the rock, legs off, take the first guy's leg out, go back to the rocket guys, avoid their rockets, legs off, 2 sword guys are going to come out, legs off, next guy's going to come, bait him back with a rocket, take his legs off, finally just the Mastiffs. The biggest part of that fight, honestly... Okay, you know what? No, not the biggest part of it. I was going to say the biggest part of that fight is the rocket guys at the beginning, but every part of that fight sucks! The rocket guys are really annoying, then the second rocket guys show up, they can go fuck themselves, the 2 sword guys come out while you're fighting the 2 rocket guys, and if you don't kill the rocket guys fast enough or take their legs off fast enough, the sword guys just come out of nowhere. And you want to know what the really fucked up thing about those sword guys is? Those sword guys are really easy to accidentally perfect parry. Well, Gibbons, why is it such a bad thing if you accidentally perfect parry them? Why is that a bad thing? Because if you accidentally perfect parry them, you fucking kill them. And if you're going for no kills, that's a problem. So they're annoying in that they're a big enough threat that you oftentimes have to try to block them, not dodge them. But if you block them, they're really easy to kill on accident. Everything about that fight is designed to fuck with you. But anyway, we got through it. Not an easy fight. So now these elevator fights are also somewhat unforgiving, but if you know how to route them, because you're a pro like me, they're real simple. So this first fight, immediately we're going to start the elevator and immediately go into an unsheathed stance right here on this yellow line. This is because, oh look, it's a custom cyborg. We hate custom cyborgs! Big Slash, gonna take him and the other ones down. If you're using this tactic, you need to go for no damage. Because in order to S-rank this fight without no damage, you need to get every Zandatsu. And I am forfeiting Zandatsus right here by using Unsheath on that, by using Unsheath on that custom, and then by not Zandatsuing the other Gecko. I'm basically missing 2 Zandatsus in this fight, so I need no damage, or else this fight does not S-rank. Luckily, it's a really easy fight to control with Unsheath and with the Sundowner Scissor, so not a big deal. You like how that elevator blinked in? Here, let's go back for a second. I actually was like thinking in my head earlier about how I was making fun of someone who had like a janky cut on this elevator, and then that elevator happens. It's like, oh yeah, single segment run, huh? Gibbons like, no, I swear it is single segment. That elevator's just weird. Why did it do that? But yeah, no, that's funny. Anyway, so then these 2 guys are going to come down. This is another fight where we just go blade mode to cut off their shields, get rid of their shields. I don't remember if we Zandatsu them. No, I purposely think I don't Zandatsu them. I want them to die. But it takes too long for them to die, so I do go for the Zandatsu, it looks like. But because the second we kill them, 2 Blade Wolves are going to come down. We want to kill these Blade Wolves immediately. You don't want to be Zandatsuing the Cyborgs when the Blade Wolves come down, because that gives the Blade Wolves time to move. So you want to... You want to maybe Zandatsu the first Cyborg, but make sure that the second one dies and leaves you in a state where you can hit the Blade Wolves. Because the second the Blade Wolves come in, you want to be able to Ripper mode the Blade Wolves, and then you want to be able to Zandatsu at least one of the Blade Wolves, and to refresh your meter so that when the Raptor jumps down, you can Blade mode the Raptor. This game goes fast, so it's kind of annoying that I'm like explaining how I did fights after the fights are over, but I don't want to rewind too much and break the flow. So this next fight, also pretty easy to S-rank. These Zandatsus actually technically aren't necessary, but I go for them. Actually, they are necessary, because I want to have full meter for the fight after this one. So we're going to go for an Unsheath right next to this pole. That's because Dwarf Gecko are going to come and try to stop the elevator from going up. But the second the cutscene starts, if you're in an Unsheath, you'll automatically Unsheath. And from there, we can slap the next couple Geckos that want to come off, but we can jump right on the elevator. That ends this section on the first elevator before the enemies even show up, which means that we're going to get an S rank on time without even like fulfilling any other condition. So that's pretty rad right there. So you can just completely avoid the fight that comes right there if you sheath to take the gecko off the pole and then get up to the second elevator before the fight really starts. Now this next fight is a tricky one. This is the one where I noticed the that one guy's run was edited. So this is single segment. So watch, when the guy drops down, he's not going to drop down the same time the like drum beat of the music starts. Listen.
From the top floor to the freight elevators. You pass to the server room seats right through them.
Bam. Okay, so you see how the music started and then he dropped down, went bum bum bum, and then the guy dropped down. If you reload the checkpoint, the second the music starts, the guy drops down. So the guy drops and goes bum 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 the second he lands. But right here, doesn't do that. Doesn't do that because this is a single segment run. Listen, listen. Music. Then he drops. Alright, see? And that ain't proof. I don't know what is. So anyway, for this fight, we're going to go for no kills. Because this fight is going to be 1 hammer cyborg, 3 sliders, and 2 mastiffs. It's a pretty brutal fight because the lock-on never wants to cooperate. The mastiffs come down from the air using an attack with like no real telegraph. Like, yeah, you can kind of hear them coming. You can kind of like get the timing down, but oh, it's hard. It's really inconsistent to get this one no damage. So we're just going to make sure that we Zandatsu all 3 of the sliders, and we're going to build up our combo on the second slider, because once you start aggressing on that third slider, the mastiffs are going to come down. So get your combo on the second slider, or the first one if you want, and then we're just going to make sure we Zandatsu every slider here. Once the mastiffs jump down, we're going to drop a white phosphorus grenade, or a red phosphorus. We're going to drop a smoke grenade, because I do not... Oh, no! I don't want to have to deal with this shit. And then we're going to go blade mode, and we're going to pincer blade them, just like we did in the Japanese garden fight. And it is important that you get a Zandatsu. It is very important that you get a Zandatsu on the last one, because when the next fight starts, we need, in order to do the fight efficiently, we need to have Ripper mode available to us. So there we go, 6.3, no kills. Those elevator fights are fights that I look back on as, like, they were really frustrating in the moment, but I look back on and I'm really, really satisfied with how I dealt with them, because you had to, like, really learn to route them to beat them, and while they're difficult fights to do like no damage on, they're not necessarily difficult fights to get S ranks on if you know what's coming and if you position yourself properly. So those are really cool fights. I like those elevator fights a lot. Just a shame they come so fucking late into the level, so I didn't get to play them very much. I spent 90% of my time on this level losing on the Japanese garden section and having to move on. So this next fight, I'm gonna take a sip. This next fight is a clone fight between Mistral and Monsoon. Do you remember how I said we were gonna fight Mistral and Monsoon earlier? By perfect parrying her gecko things, and then Monsoon is Monsoon. But this is being a better Monsoon fight. We're going to do the same thing here. Problem is that, again, it's hard to take no damage. But this is a very forgiving fight if you do take damage, if you get the right amount of kills. So we're actually going to break her stick right... Oh, what? I failed to break her stick. What, do I suck at this game? Alright, so we're going to break her stick, and then do the exact same thing we did in the Mistral fight. She's going to run over and try to grab a gecko, or a dwarf gecko, and she is going to try to hit us with it, and when she does that, we're going to perfect parry to do a lot of damage to her. Bam, there we go. Down to 9%. Here's the thing, though. In order to get the kill requirement to S-rank this fight, we need, like, 15 kills or something. So despite the fact you can one-shot Mistral by doing a perfect parry and then going into Ripper mode, I don't go into Ripper mode. I purposely leave her alive so that I can get like 15 kills on the dwarf geckos, and I can get my 50-hit combo. Because you also need a 50-hit combo to S-rank this. So this first Mistral fight is basically going to be doing about 90% of Mistral's health, and then building up your combo and your kills on the dwarf gecko. And then once you have that fulfilled, you're just going to kill Mistral quickly. And so she gets out of the way really pretty quickly. I'm going to swap immediately to the Psy, and now here comes the Monsoon fight. Monsoon fight is going to go down the same way it did in the normal Monsoon fight, except he's not going to throw like trucks at us and stuff, so it's a bit faster. Once he goes into the state where he starts avoiding all of our slashes by separating his body, we're going to use the Psy to stun him. But until then, oh yeah, right there, I couldn't lock onto him. I was trying to lock onto him and it just wouldn't let me do it, and I'm like, okay, alright, game. I don't think I know damages. I definitely take damage by Monsoon at some point. I don't know why I have such a hard time taking no damage against Monsoon, because I understand exactly how he works. I know exactly how he works. So the fact that he like does damage to me occasionally drives me fucking off the wall. But I do take damage from him. I don't know damage this, despite the fact that it's really not that hard not to. So there we go. So now he's going to go into the state where he's going to avoid my strikes. You can tell because he's going purple. So I'm going to take his head off, and then I'm going to go straight for the Sundowner Scissors. But like I said, we're going to go for the third strike this time, not the second one, because the third hit does way more damage than the second. And I take damage. Great. There we go. Yeah, so I'm going to get beat up a little bit by Monsoon here, but I'm going to switch back to the Psy, and one more round of Sundowner Scissors should take him out. Actually, I got a perfect parry there, which means I think I'm going to have to go 2 more rounds of Sundowner Scissors. So this fight is actually a little bit annoying, because remember when I said that coming into this fight with Ripper mode is really, really important? Well, there's one more fight after this fight before we have to fight Sundowner, and that fight also would be ideal if I came into this with maximum Ripper mode, but because I have to go into Blade mode to do damage to Monsoon here, I'm not going to have full Ripper mode when I go into the next fight, so I'm going to have to, like, you know, go into the fight without full Ripper mode and use, like, a Smoke Grenade to kind of supplement the aggressiveness of the enemies at the start to line up the fight how I want it to be lined up. And then after that, we'll be fighting Sundowner. But no, this fight after this Monsoon fight, like, look at that. Boom, 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 boom. S rank. Not too hard of a fight, but, you know, you got to learn to route it a little bit. So then we've got the Sundowner cutscene up here and stuff. So there's going to be a fight after this one. It's an optional fight, and this fight is very frustrating. It's very, very easy. While the fight is not a hard fight to get an S rank in, even if you took damage, it's a very hard fight to not take damage in at all. And while getting the S rank isn't that hard, the time, battle point, and kill requirement are a bit finicky, because you need 5 kills. But there's only 4 enemies, 2 sliders and 2 raptors. So you need to kill a raptor in a way that the dwarf gecko survives, so that you can kill the dwarf gecko and get a 5th kill. On top of that, you need to still get 50 hits, which you're probably going to do on sliders, but you also need to get every Zandatsu. So because the sliders like to fly close to each other in a small room, what this means is that when you go into Blade mode, you could accidentally kill both sliders with 1 slash. This last fight is frustrating, because there is a lot of places where it can go wrong, despite the fact that it is not a fight that's really that hard to fulfill all of the categories on it to get an S rank. There is a lot of small things that can go wrong that just completely end it. So we're going to start off immediately, and we're going to throw a Smoke Grenade, because I want to go and target one of these raptors to build up enough Blade mode to cut its legs off. Bam, 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 bam. We have Blade mode. We're going to take the legs off now. So legs come off, we exit Blade mode, and now, or exit Ripper mode, and now we're going to go for the first Zandatsu. So I'm trying to cut these enemies and Zandatsu them in a way that I don't hit the Dwarf Gecko inside of them, so the Dwarf Gecko comes out alive. So as you can see at the top, as you can see on the radar, and right there, the Dwarf Gecko is alive. So I cut the thing just right. So now I'm going to cut this one, and I'm going to cut it in a way that I hopefully don't kill the Dwarf Gecko inside of it that sit like right under their chest. And it looks like the Dwarf Gecko's alive, which means that we are definitely going to fulfill our 5 kill requirement. So far we have 2 Zandatsus, we need 4. There's our third Zandatsu, and we've already fulfilled the kill requirement because we actually let 2 of the Dwarf Geckos survive. So now we just need to fulfill our last Zandatsu and our combo requirement, which is going to be done right here. There's our Zandatsu, once we push B, and we're going to wail on this guy to get our 50-hit combo, and that will fulfill our combo requirement. A bit of a rough fight. I make it look easy because I'm so damn good, but believe me, that fight is that's a frustrating fight. You have no idea how frustrating it is to get all the way up to this fight just to be 100 points off. Like, look at this, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000. You have no idea how frustrating it is to get up to this fight just to have it be like, for some reason, everything was perfect. 1,000 time, 1,000 Danzatsu, 1,000 longest combo, 1,000 kills, but for some reason, you only got 900 battle points. You have no idea how frustrating it is to get all the way up here, single segment, just for that mission to be like, yeah, you didn't get enough battle points. Ooh, man, that sucks. But we're done with this. So now we're getting the homing missile ready because we're going to do the Sundowner fight. Now, Sundowner is a funny boss because he is notoriously a pushover. He never even goes into his second phase a lot of times, even on normal runs, let alone Revengeance. So here's the thing about Sundowner, though, that's really difficult. Now, I'm going to pause the game a bit before I talk about Sundowner. In the Sundowner fight, you can one-shot Sundowner with an air perfect parry. However, just like Blade Wolf, you will not get the S rank because there's a point in Sundowner's mission where he summons mooks to come fight you, which means if you want to get the S rank in this mission, you need to get a certain amount of kills to build up a kill bar. But because the mooks can also be Zandatsu'd, Sundowner is a boss that actually has a Zandatsu requirement as well. Okay, that sucks. So if you get no kills and you get no Zandatsus, immediately if you one-shot him, even with no damage, you can't get an S rank anymore. So how are we gonna remedy this? Well, there's two ways you can remedy this. One, you can purposely push Sundowner into phase 2 despite the fact, because here's the thing about Sundowner, you also need to get a 50-hit combo. Again, Sundowner is notorious for being a pushover. It is really, really hard to hit him 50 times without him either shifting phases and ruining your combo, or straight up killing him. So, that's 3 problems right there. Sundowner is such a fucking little pushover baby bitch that killing him too well means you don't get an S rank. So we've got 2 options here. We can either push the fight on over and over into his second phase and try to fight him normally and actually get a bunch of Zandatsus and let him swing the big poles on the side of the map around and let him yell about how invincible he is with stupid fucking fat fuck running around. We could do all that. Or we got the second strategy. I think Sundowner is a bit of a pushover, and I think it's apt that when we fight him, he should go down as a pushover. So instead of getting Zandatsus and all that crap to get our S rank, we're going to rely on the no damage bonus. But Gibbons, how are we going to get the no damage bonus? If you get no kills and you get no Zandatsus, that's 2,000 points. No damage only gives you 1,500. The helicopters count as kills, though. So what we're going to do is juggle Sundowner for a 50-hit combo, but leave him alive long enough that the helicopters will come into play, and we can kill 2 helicopters to fulfill the kill bonus just enough that our 1,500 no-kill bonus is going to actually bring us up to an S rank. This is kind of finicky to pull off, but when you do get it pulled off, it's really satisfying, especially at the end of this long level that you had to do in one shot. Immediately jump Sundowner, fire a rocket at the helicopter, run close to him to bait out his backslash, hit him 2 times, or 3 times actually, and then launch him. Then jump up to hit him 3 times to keep him suspended in the air so he doesn't roll out of it, and then go for a combo here. You're going to do this combo up to 50 hits. When the 50th hit comes out, the next helicopter is going to try to spawn in. So then we're going to stop comboing Sundowner because we've reached our 50-hit combo bonus, which we needed to get the S rank. But we also need to fulfill the kill bonus. So you might see a spotlight come out. There's the helicopter. We're going to leave Sundowner, run over, blast the helicopter. All right, helicopter down. And then we have to run back to Sundowner and start fighting him. Funny enough, I actually maintained the combo through this somehow. So now we're just going to fight Sundowner the way most people fight Sundowner, which is by not progressing his phase 2. We're just going to dodge all of his swings and just keep wailing on him, wailing on him, wailing on him. I'm not even using the Muramasa's blade. This is the basic HF blade. That's how fast he goes down. Look at what a little baby bitch he is. And so that's how we're going to S-rank Sundowner. All right, now you might say, that's cheap. That's a cheap way to beat Sundowner. You need to put him into phase 2. Which is really funny, because so many people don't even know Sundowner has a phase 2 because of how easy it is to beat him in phase 1. So you could sit there and be like, oh, you didn't beat Sundowner correctly. You're supposed to purposely put him into phase 2 and then fight the custom cyborgs and then let him swing the big pole around and then, use blade mode to cut his hands when he goes for the swim. Nah, fuck that. Fuck that. Sundowner's a little bitch, and after 12 hours, or 10 hours, 10 to 12 hours of playing this level, trying to play it perfectly, no fucking mistakes. By the way, this part, if you just don't move at all, you get through it. So if you just don't move at all and you keep spamming the attack button, you fly through this part without taking damage. It's perfect. Excellent. Good job. Anyway, so yeah, no, after 10 to 12 hours of this fucking mission, finally getting through it perfectly, getting all the way up to Sundowner, I'm not about, like I've said, these, when you're doing a single segment run, it's all about consistency. Not about looking fancy, not about looking flashy, not about looking good. It's about looking consistent within reason. You know, you don't want to do gimmicky. This is kind of gimmicky. You don't want to cheat. You know, oh, well, the game lets you use wigs, so I can use a wig in single segment. That's kind of cheating. That's kind of cheap. But, it's all about consistency within reason. And I feel like after all the this being the longest mission in the game, after everything I've come through in this mission, to come up to Sundowner, you know what? I don't feel obligated to let Sundowner play his game. Sundowner sucks. Fuck him, and I'm gonna kill him and show him how much he sucks. Despite the fact that he's got one of the coolest themes in the game with the red sun. He's got a really good theme, but Yeah, I'm not gonna humor Sundowner. He's a little bitch and he's going down like a little bitch. No damage, 2,000, 2,000, 2,000, 2,000. No damage for the 2,000, 10,000. 0 Zandatsus. We literally had to get 2,000 in every category except 1 for the no damage to carry us. So, you know, we still had to get 5 kills. You had to kill the 2 helicopters or else you weren't going to get enough kills. We had to do the 50-hit combo or else we weren't going to get longest combo. Battle point just comes with longest combo, and we beat him pretty quickly just because, you know, we juggled his dumbass the whole time. But yeah, no, that was fighting Sundowner was kind of funny because you go through. I cannot tell you how many times I got up to Sundowner, right? Tried to fight him legitimately. Some small thing went wrong. Now I gotta do the whole mission again. I'm telling you right now, it breaks you. Having to play the same half-an-hour mission from the start over and over and over again for 12 hours, that breaks you. So you might watch this and think this is that was a cheap way to win. I am disappointed with that Sundowner fight. You know what? You post a video of you single segmenting this level on Revengeance, fighting Sundowner normally, all right? And then get back to me, and then I'll feel like an idiot, all right? But with how long this mission takes, I'm not about to take any chances. We're going for the most consistent route possible, and the most consistent route is also a little, it's a little bit stylish, juggling Sundowner. That's a bit stylish. And I'm happy with it. I'm happy with it. Despite how defensive I sound, I'm happy with that mission, all right? Even if someone did say, I have single segmented this level and beat Sundowner normally, but pushing him into a second phase, I don't care. I'm happy with that. Sundowner's kind of like a bit of a pushover, and I think that beating him in a funny way that gets me the S rank, but also still makes him a pushover is kind of funny. Anyway, this mission is super, super fucking short. Super easy. This first fight's really easy. If you jump up that... jump up the truck, and then you go into blade mode, that will, or ripper mode, that will cancel your, flip animation coming onto the top of the truck. So you can flip up to the truck, and then go into ripper mode, and then blade mode, and those guys won't have time to shoot you. So you can no damage this fight pretty easily. You take out those guys, and then you come down. I use the Psy to just kill the first guy fast, but yeah, no, this fight speaks for itself, You take out the first guys really easily, take out the second sword custom quickly. Try to get a Zandatsu on all of them if you can, because you need 4 Zandatsus to get the max Zandatsu. See, I only got 3, so I got 900. If I got that Zandatsu, my BP also probably would have been raised enough to get me the S rank, but I took no damage here, so I still got the S rank. But even if you do take damage here, if you Zandatsu everybody and you get a combo of, well, clearly 39 at least, then you're... What did I push to say track English? Anyway. So, this is a pretty easy mission. It really didn't take me too long to beat this mission. And it probably won't take... Yeah, assuming anyone is following this as like an actual guide, like, I want to do a Revengeance run. Assuming anyone's actually using this as some kind of guide, it won't take you too long to beat this mission either. Even this next part of the mission, where you have to fight a bunch of rocket launcher guys back to back to back, that mission is really hard. That fight is really hard to do without taking damage. But as long as you Zandatsu every enemy, and then you make sure you build a combo up on the last one using Ripper mode and Blade mode, as long as you do that, S rank, no problem. So these guys are going to shoot. There's going to be 4 guys around the circle firing rockets at you. So I'm jumping around trying to avoid the rockets. I don't even go for combos on these guys because I can just blade mode Zandatsu them. I think you got to get a Zandatsu on everybody in this to get the full Zandatsu points. So I'm just jumping around trying to avoid rockets, trying to go for my Zandatsus, and then I'll build up my combo on the last guy who is a hammer cyborg. So I'm just jumping around. I swear I took damage from one of the rockets on this, but if I didn't, maybe you'll be seeing a no damage run of this. But believe me, you can do this even with taking damage, and taking damage is so wild. It really does just feel like RNG. I can't tell you. Like earlier, I talked about how if you put in the same inputs, you would get hit by a rocket fucking 1 out of 10 times. On this one, I swear if you put in the same inputs, you get hit by a rocket fucking 4 out of 10 times. Like, sometimes the rockets just spin in a way that completely fucks you over. And because I took no damage, that's crazy. I thought I took damage. Because I took no damage, I didn't bother building a combo on that last guy. But if you did take damage, you should build a combo on that last guy, because you see, kills 5, 1,000 points. BP, 1,000 points. I didn't even need a combo, and I still got my BP maxed out. Time, 1,000 points. Zandatsu 5, 1,000 points. If you do take damage here, just make sure you Zandatsu every enemy, and make sure that you build up like a 50-hit combo on the last guy using Ripper mode and Blade mode. You'll still get the S rank on this fight. Next fight doesn't come up for a little while. There's going to be some fights in an alley. These are unranked. The next fight actually route's a bit interesting. If I recall, there's going to be 2 Blade Wolves, a bunch of Dwarf Gecko, and then 2 Sliders. But you can fight the Sliders in an isolated manner away from all the other enemies. If you kind of wait by the entrance of where the mission, of where the fight starts. So I think that's what I go for. No, actually, now that I'm remembering it, this mission was a bit fucky. One of the Sliders didn't spawn. In this mission, actually, 2 Sliders are supposed to spawn up here, but only one of them spawned. And I was worried that I wasn't going to get enough kills for the S rank, or I wasn't going to get enough, like, Zandatsus for the S rank or something. And you can watch me looking around a little confused, like, where the fuck is this Slider? Because I had to do this mission like 5 times. This is like the 5th time I've done it. This is a short mission. It doesn't take too long to beat, but this is like my 5th attempt. And I end up getting it, but I'm like, where's the Slider? So I go over to cut that up just because I can. It's funny. But, yeah, there's one Slider here, so I'm going to jump over to it. All right. Oh, okay, no dive kick. Fuck off, little, what's it called? Dwarf Gecko. I get the Zandatsu here on the Slider. There's a bunch of Dwarf Gecko. But now I'm looking for the second Slider, because the second Slider is normally at the top of the stairs, but on the right side. But where is it? Where's the second? I'm looking for it. There's no second Slider. I can't find it. So I'm sitting here just like, where the fuck is the second Slider? Oh yeah, this is not going to spawn. I guess the second Slider's not going to spawn. So I'm running around killing the Dwarf Gecko. And because I haven't taken any damage yet, I'm like, all right, maybe I just have to... Oh, it's not 2 Blade Wolves, it's 2 fucking Raptors. That's even worse. Oh my god, fucking Raptors! And so I'm taking damage here. This is not going to be a no damage, but I think this is a relatively forgiving fight. Like, as long as you Zandatsu, like, 3 enemies, you can probably get... Oh, I dodged that EMP blast somehow. I'm such a god gamer. I think as long as you get 3 Zandatsus, clearly then you get the S rank, because this is an S rank run, naturally. So, even though I'm taking damage here, yeah, so now I'm going to build combo on this last guy. Because I'm like, okay, the last Slider didn't spawn, and normally I build my combo on the Slider, because the Sliders are really good for combo building, but the Slider didn't spawn. So, I'm just going to get my 3 Zandatsus, build up my 50-hit combo on this Raptor, and the rest of the Dwarf Gecko should help me fulfill the kill and the battle point requirement. Moving on up here. Yeah, we're going to be fighting these Dwarf Gecko now. And then, boop, 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 boop. Look at that. Look at that. S rank. And also, there's a chest right there with some battle points in it. So if you really needed battle points, you could open that chest for him. But yeah, look, 3 Zandatsus. I got the combo is usually about 50 is what you need. That's pretty standard. But 3 Zandatsus, some kills. I did try to cut the Raptors in a way so that when I Zandatsu them, the Gecko, the Dwarf Gecko inside of them survives to compensate for that one Slider not spawning. Sometimes you can cut the Raptors and it'll kill the Gecko inside as well, but excuse me, you can kill the Dwarf Gecko inside as well. But I oftentimes, funny enough, now that I think about it, I oftentimes leave the Dwarf Gecko alive in the Raptors if I can, just for extra things to kill. So yeah, this is another stealth section. This is not a ranked fight, and I'm not about to fight 3 fucking Mastiffs. Also, when the Mastiffs spot you, a Grad spawns in. Yeah, I really enjoy fighting 3 Mastiffs with a Grad firing shit at me in the background. No thanks. Like, Mastiffs are enough of a pain in the ass that I can't be fucked. Like I said earlier, they've got their command grabs, which are menaces. They're menaces with those command grabs. They stun you with almost every hit they do, which leads to other enemies coming and being able to hit you and stun you. They're just crazy. They're fucking wild enemies. Fighting one of them alone isn't bad. Again, of course, unless you're me, and I suck at fighting them alone even. But fighting one of them isn't alone. But even just 2 Mastiffs together, like that's a hard fight. So I try to, if I can, avoid fighting Mastiffs. So you're definitely going to want to get a Zandatsu on this guy, because this next fight in this room is an optional fight, but you're going to want Blade Mode immediately when you do it, and you're going to want the Pincer Blades and Smoke Grenades. So when you run over to this like little computer by the door over here and then try to leave, that's going to spawn some enemies in. So you run over to the computer, drop the Smoke Grenade by the door immediately, and oh look, it's 3 Mastiffs, 3 enemies I try to avoid fighting. So yeah, I'm just going to sit here and smash them all with the fucking Pincer Blade while in a smoke screen. You bet your ass I'm not about to fight 3 Mastiffs in a super mega tiny room. No thanks, not happening. So we're going to take out the first 2 Mastiffs with the Pincer Blade, take out the third one, make sure we get our Zandatsu, build a little bit of combo on him. This one's still alive, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool, free Zandatsu, I guess. But, yeah, no, in this fight, you just really want to make sure that you throw the smoke out away from the computer the second you stand next to it. And boom, look at that. BP 900, longest combo 26 for 500, 2 Zandatsus is 1,000, 3 kills is 1,000. So as long as you take no damage, this is really not that hard of a fight to get. The key to this fight is when you stand next to the computer, immediately see how when I... 10 seconds back. Yeah, I need to figure out a way to skip less seconds, but just see how when I run into this fight right here, I run over to the computer and I immediately pull out the grenade to throw it towards the door. That's really... excuse me. That's really the key thing to this fight. Once you know how this fight works, and you just fucking run in the room and instantly throw the grenade, fight's over. Fight's basically over at that point. Minus a little bit, you know, add a little bit of Sundowner blade smashing. I gotta pee really bad. The next mission is Sam. That was the last fight. I'll try to be back fast and explain how Sam works. Sam fight has started. Alright. So, Sam is a relatively easy boss, believe it or not. He's got three attacks you can perfect parry, and he will do a 4-string combo. He's got 2 of these strings. This is going to be one that I can parry, it looks like. Yep. So, with Sam, he's got 3 4-string hit combos, and you can perfect parry 3 of them in the end, but one of them you can't. So, with one of them... And you can tell the difference because he will 2-hand his sword or 1-hand his sword. If he 2-hands his sword, he's going to do 3 swings, delay, and then the 4th swing you can perfect parry. If he 1-hands his sword, he's going to do 2 swings, delay, 2 swings, and the second swing of the 4th swing is going to be auto perfect parry. So that's like obviously the best attack he can do. I'm sitting here waiting for him to swing at me because the hardest thing about Sam is getting the BP requirement. You can beat Sam perfectly and still not have enough points for the S rank, so because you don't find any BP on this map. So what you need to do is wait for Sam to kick some rocks at you so you can blow up those rocks. Once those rocks have been sliced up, Sam will, you'll get the BP you need to win this fight. He actually has 3 phases. We're on phase 3 right now, but we skipped phase 2 because on Revengeance difficulty, you parry so hard that you can skip phase 2. I actually did another Sam fight on hard difficulty, though, and I put that in this video so that I could further extrapolate and show you how the Sam fight goes when you don't skip phase 2. But that's going to be after this, naturally. So in the first phase, Sam just is always up in your face, he's fighting you. And then in the third phase, Sam will like to jump away from you and then do some kind of like dashing attack like this. And when he does that, he will either follow up with an attack. Okay, this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4th delay, parry. I actually purposely don't perfect parry that. You might not believe me, but I purposely don't perfect parry that because I know he's so close to death, and in my head I'm thinking, I don't want to accidentally fuck up the perfect parry because it's the delay attack, and in that split moment I make the wise decision to do a normal block and then just finish him off. But believe it or not, I'm sitting here talking about what a parry god I am, right? But I purposely didn't perfect parry that, alright? That's how good I am. I can make split decisions like that. But anyway, so Sam's got those 3 phases. And the first phase is in your face, and the second phase, he'll jump away from you, then do an attack, and then you hit him. Same thing with the third phase, but in the third phase, he's given like a parry and stuff, and he's got those rocks he can shoot at you. And if you're too close, you can't slice the rocks, which is... it's very easy to get hit by them and ruin your no damage. So right here, 1, 2, 3, delay, 4, parry. Boom. And then what do we got next? He's going to do that, so block that, and then this is going to be, I'm going to dodge this. You can block that as well, but I'm going to go dodge that. 1, 2, 3, 4, delay, parry. Bing, just like that. See, because he's 2-handing the sword. 2-handing the sword, 1, 2, 3, delay, parry. Because he's 2-handing it. 1-handed, but this one you cannot perfect parry. Whenever he does the 1-handed 4-hit combo, and then he does the unsheath, you cannot perfect parry that. You have to wait for him to do a 1-handed 4-hit string with no unsheath, and that is going to be a free perfect parry. So anyway, that's the first part of the fight. You basically just sit there and perfect parry all of Sam's 4-hit strings that he does when he does them. The second half of the fight is going to be no sword Sam. And I'm just hitting him here to build up a little bit of combo. But with no sword Sam, It's pretty simple. He's going to swing a punch at you. You're going to block it. And then you're going to hit him and back off. Because he also has a parry in this mode. You don't want to be too aggressive on Sam in these second and third phases. Because he will parry you sometimes. He does it very rarely, but he does do it. So what I generally do in these fights is I parry, I block, and then I sundown or scissors. And then I block and I sundown or scissors. And I block and I sundown or scissors. And eventually you'll do enough damage to him that you'll go into phase 3. Phase 3 plays just like phase 2, where Sam is going to play a lot more passively. He's going to try to jump and run away from you. But now he's got his sword and he's got some new moves. So you don't want to get too aggressive on Sam here. Especially since in order to get the BP requirement, we need him to shoot some fucking rocks at us for us to cut up. So we really don't want to kill Sam that fast. So we're going to block these here. 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to hit him with the Sundowner Blade and back off. So Sundowner Scissors, hit him a couple of times and back off. Parry his moves. The only moves you can perfect parry on Sam are going to be those 4 hit strings I was talking about. Those 3 4-hit strings. So, you know, just parry or block those, and then swing your Sundowner Scissors at him. If you hit him, good. If you don't hit him, he'll back off. Again, I'm waiting for him to throw rocks at me right now, because I need to cut those rocks up for fucking battle points. So there we go. Here comes the rock attack. Finally, thank you, Sam. Now I can cut up these rocks and get the battle points I need. Generally, you want to use as much of your meters you can to cut up the rocks, use as many points as you can, or as many parts as you can to get as more BP from them. So, alright, cool. Now I've cut up the rocks. Now I've got enough BP to get an S rank on this mission. Let's go kill Sam. That's really what you're waiting for. Once you get into phase 3, you're just waiting for him to throw rocks at you. And but I mean, at that point the fight's pretty simple. You know, parry all the things he does. He always does the exact same thing. He jumps away from you and then he does an attack, and then he jumps away from you and does an attack. So I'm gonna hit him. Sundowner Blade, jump away, and then he's gonna jump away from me. Oh, look, there's a jump away. Here comes the attacks. Oh, look, here's the attack. Like, see, he's gonna follow that pattern every time. 1, 2, 3, delay, 4, parry. He's gonna dodge it. 1, 2, 3, auto parry on the 4th. Just like that. See. Once you fought him enough, you start to identify those strings on their wind-up. You begin to know which string he's doing just on the wind-up of it, whether he's two-handing or one-handing the sword, and you can preemptively prepare for the perfect parry to wipe him out. So yeah, Sam is a really, really cool fight. Really, really fun fight, honestly. It's presented amazingly. I think he's like the samurai to offset Raiden's ninja. I think they're like, they're a really good complementing characters. He's an antagonist that complements Raiden really well. I think that the fight is presented really well, and I think Sam is a really cool character and a really great fight. But it's really not a very hard fight once you know what you're doing. Since it's just like, you know, you don't even have to do anything up to it to get the S rank. You just need to know how he works and then beat him up. But nonetheless, it's still a really, really cool fight I love a lot. And now we're moving on to Armstrong. And Armstrong is both the hardest fight in the game, and once you've labbed it out and you know the secret, one of the easiest fights in the game. And I'll explain that when we get up to him, but gotta take a sip, you know. Gotta wet my whistle, I can't get my throat too dry. There's a couple of fights leading up to Armstrong. Funny enough, the Metal Gear Excelsius fight before Armstrong gave me a bit more trouble than I thought it would. This is just a pretty standard fight with some cyborgs. Just make sure you Zandatsu all of them. It's really hard to do this fight with taking no damage. Just make sure you Zandatsu all the enemies, and then use Ripper Mode, Blade Mode to get a 50-hit combo on the last one. It's, you know, by that point, you should know that that's kind of the standard for fights. Get as many Zandatsus as you can, and then Blade Mode, Ripper Mode, the last guy for combo. So the Armstrong fight's actually interesting in that I spent a lot of time labbing the Armstrong fight until I had it down to a science. And I could beat Armstrong S rank every time. But the Metal Gear Excelsius fight, I thought, like, yeah, that fight's not going to be too much of an issue. Because the first time I beat it no problem. And then every subsequent time I came to do the fight, the Metal Gear Excelsius fight I was randomly getting hit in some fucking stupid place or something and being like, oh shit, now I'm not going to get the S rank. So the Armstrong fight was funny in that it took me quite a long time to lab Armstrong. I spent like maybe 2 or 3 hours, maybe even 4 hours, labbing Armstrong to really, really find the science to beat him. And then I had to do like another hour labbing Metal Gear Excelsius after that when I thought I had it down to a science, but I didn't quite. But yeah, Armstrong is a very interesting fight because he's all his moves aren't really like that dangerous. But here's the thing about Armstrong, is that in order to S rank him, you basically have to do no damage, because all 3 of his phases count towards your time. And all 3 of those phases are going to take like 8 minutes total, and you're not going to get a good time bonus if you do that. It feels like his like bonus was Armstrong was either very geniusly designed to allow people playing on lower difficulties to S-rank him even if they took damage, while forcing people on higher difficulties to have to no-damage him because it forces longer time limits. I think it was an intentional design decision, because with how much longer he takes to kill in his early phases, it basically makes it so that you will not be able to meet the S-rank time requirement on harder difficulties. But it's very easy to do on easier difficulties. So I think that Armstrong was very intentionally designed to be a boss that on the harder difficulties you needed to do no damage to S-rank. That's just my opinion. Some people disagree and they say, no, he's just badly designed, but he's the last boss in the game. You know, this is the game saying he's the last boss. You should know how to fucking play the game by now, and goddamn, you're gonna beat him perfectly. This is all right. But funny enough, he's actually quite easy once you learn how he works. The Armstrong fight is interesting because you can script the fight. You can make it play a script, kind of. I noticed when I was fighting Armstrong that whenever I did, because he always opens up with the same attack every time. I noticed that when I did a certain set of moves, he would very consistently always retaliate with another move. So, after spending a lot of time labbing Armstrong and finding out the perfect way to move around, the perfect way to jump at him, the perfect amount of hits to hit him with, the perfect amount of, the perfect attacks to, like, swing into him with, I figured out a way to bait Armstrong into consistently going into his QuickTime event attack. And that QuickTime event attack allows you to do a shit ton of damage to him early, which can skip a lot of the fighting of him. Where he can be very dangerous, because while it's very easy to just block all of his attacks, when you block his attacks, he staggers you and it drops your combo. So how are you going to get a combo on Armstrong that way? Also, on top of that, when he goes for his command grab, it's got the same kind of thing the Mastiffs does, where sometimes it just fucking hits you anyway. So the longer you fight Armstrong, the higher chance there is of just getting hit by some stray bullshit and losing your S rank. So I found a way to script Armstrong to make him very, very, very consistently do the exact same attacks every time in the exact same order, and I exploit that to an insane degree to make his fight play out the exact way every time. And I've actually done Armstrong multiple times, not in a single segment, to practice this, and I can get the fight to play out the same way every single time. I'm quite the genius, all right? But we'll get to that when we get to Armstrong. This is the Metal Gear Excelsius fight. The only hard part about the Metal Gear Excelsius fight is that there's a point where it summons some Gecko that you have to fight. Now, the Gecko aren't hard to kill, but in order to S-rank this fight, the game expects you to get some kills, and it expects you more kills than Excelsius, and it expects you to get Zandatsus. So, if you go through the entire fight and you take no damage, and you don't kill any Gecko, and you don't Zandatsu any Gecko, then you're not going to get the S rank. So I need to make sure that I Zandatsu these Gecko while also taking no damage, and hopefully I can kill one of them, but I don't think I will kill any of them. And there's a very interesting pattern this follows. I'm going to rewind for a second, because sometimes if you try to Zandatsu these Gecko, his laser beams will come out and they'll hit you. But the second laser beam he fires is always going to split you to the sides. So it'll miss you even when the Zandatsu. I can stand perfectly still. I go for like a dodge, but if you stand still, I think it'll split you and still miss you. Don't quote me on that though, because maybe it will still hit you. This game is not an exact science sometimes. Don't quote me on that. But after the first beam, the Geckos are safe to Zandatsu. After the second sweeping beam, the Geckos are safe to Zandatsu. He's going to do a beam after that, though. These Gecko are not safe to Zandatsu. You do not want to Zandatsu these Gecko, because if you do, this beam right here will hit you. So you need to be ready to avoid that last beam he does. So, basically, for the Zandatsu part of this fight, to get your Zandatsus on the Gecko, after the first beam, Zandatsu the Gecko. After the second beam, well, I guess technically third beam, but after the second beam that stuns the Gecko, Zandatsu the Gecko. However, when the third wave of Gecko show up, do not Zandatsu the Gecko immediately. Wait until he does his final beam, which is the sweeping from the right to the left. Then you want to Zandatsu the Gecko. And I know that as I talk about this as it's happening, and being, like, drinking as this entire playthrough has gone on, so as time has gone on, I've probably gotten louder and more intoxicated. It's probably getting harder and harder to follow me. So maybe the things I'm saying don't even fucking mean anything to anyone watching, and they'll go, yeah, all right, bro, I'm definitely, I understand what you mean. I'll definitely kill the Gecko in that order, as if it fucking means anything to them. But that's the science behind it, all right? Zandatsu the first Gecko, Zandatsu the second set of Gecko, don't Zandatsu the third set of Gecko until the laser beams are over. That's the TLDR. First set of Gecko, Zandatsu. Second set of Gecko, Zandatsu. Third set, yeah, I don't need to Zandatsu those ones until the end, right? And then, of course, with these legs, where I'm cutting the legs up, I'm, of course, cutting as many times as I can to cut the legs into a bunch of different parts so that I can get as many battle points as I can to get the battle point requirement. I tried to go for the combo requirement on the Gecko, but I think I only get up to like 48 or 45 or something. However, we're going to go for no damage in this, so naturally that will pick up a bit of the slack for us. So at this point the fight's over, we're just quick time and eventing, but that was the Metal Gear Excelsius fight. Nothing I said probably would actually help anyone trying to work through this fight. However, alright, I would like to counterclaim the fact that nothing I said was probably that helpful with the fact that if you yourself are doing a single segment run of Revengeance difficulty and you've made it up to Armstrong, you probably don't need me to tell you how to beat Metal Gear Excelsius, because it's really not that hard of a fight. The hardest part of the fight is the fact that you need to get some Zandatsus on some Geckos to S-rank it, and you need to know, like, when you should and shouldn't Zandatsu them. But other than that, it's not a hard fight. So, like, while nothing I said was useful, counterpoint, if you're this far, you probably don't need me to tell you how to beat it. Man, the music in this fight is so fucking great, though. The soundtrack in this game is so fucking top tier. It's such, like, I know a lot of people use it. It's like in, like, a lot of memes. A lot of people love to use the songs in this game and, like, they're the meme compilations and stuff. But, like, unironically, the boss fight music in this game is so fucking good. And the way that the music dynamically adjusts, dynamically, so there we go. I got 1 kill on him, which, what's it called? Only gives me 1,000 points, so you probably need to kill 2 more Gecko to bring it up to 2,000. Longest combo, 41. I got that on the Geckos, I think. So you might want to put a little extra effort if you can into getting a 50-hit combo on the Geckos for the last Zandatsu. But 3 Zandatsu is enough for 2,000, so just make sure that you Zandatsu make sure you Zandatsu 3 Geckos, and that your combo is at least 41, I guess. Maybe 40 would work as well. And then if you took no damage, you're good. But no, the music in this game is so fantastic. The way it, like, adapts and kicks in certain parts of fights as well is so good. I love it. So for the first part of this fight, you can just fight him normally and parry his stuff. Except it's kind of dangerous to do that because, see that move right there? When he goes into that move, he has super armor, which if you swing at him with your HF blade will actually make Raiden bounce off and deflect, and you will not be able to dodge in time, and it will hit you. So it's actually really, really dangerous to swing at Armstrong. Nice knife. It's really dangerous to swing at Armstrong with the HF blade because he will get super armor, you'll bounce off, and you'll get hit. This counts towards the Armstrong fight. This is phase 2. That last fight was phase 1, and then phase 3 is actually fighting Armstrong with Sam's blade. These all count towards the S rank of the total Armstrong fight. So if you get hit here, you don't get an S rank on the fight anymore. So there's 2 ways to actually deal with this fight right here. You can either punch Armstrong down to like 95% HP and then it progresses, or you can dodge all his shit. Here's the thing, on very hard and Revengeance difficulty, punching him does like virtually no damage. So it's actually just as fast and more consistent to just avoid his attacks for 2.5 minutes because, you know, if you go to fight him, he's going to do more attacks. And if he does more attacks, that's more of a chance that you can get hit by something. But if you just dodge all the shit he throws at you like this, it's going to take about 2 minutes anyway. And it's he's going to throw less attacks out. There's less margin for error this way. But yeah, basically whenever he starts to charge you, just do a dodge in case the attack he does is his big kick. If it's not the big kick, start running and jumping away from him. And if it is the big kick, you can avoid the big kick and then you run and jump away from him. And that's all we're going to do here for like 2.5 minutes. And then we're going to fight real Armstrong. And remember when we talked about real Armstrong, I talked about how I could script him into doing some moves. So I'll explain that now without having to pause things. So when the fight starts, he's going to do 2 ground slams. Sometimes 1, sometimes 2. What I do is I run up to him and I do 2 heavy attacks. And then I do a follow-up with 3 light attacks. And then I dodge his ground slam. If he does a second one, I dodge the second one as well, but you have to be ready for that. But sometimes he only does 1. Then I go in and I do another 2 heavy attacks, 3 light attacks, and I launch Armstrong, because he's in a launchable state right after that, just for a little bit. I launch Armstrong, and then I do a heavy attack when she's in the air, which purposely misses, but puts me behind him. It's a cross-up, I mix him up, right? I do another strong attack, which misses Armstrong, puts me behind him. And then when he's on the ground, I sit there and I do Blade Flurry, do pa 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 pa, and build up a bunch of hits for my combo. Also build some meter, do some damage. But the second he stands up, I don't keep attacking him. I instantly do a dodge backwards. And that will force Armstrong to slam the ground and do his quick time event attack. And once he does that, there's 2 ways the fight can go. If he does the quick time event attack, where you guys sit there and punch each other, he'll lose like half his HP. And from there, he will instantly go into his healing phase. You break the heal, cut the rock, and then he'll go into a healing phase, break the heal, cut the rock, fight's over. But if he, yeah, there's me trying to skip the cutscene again. But he has a second route he can go down where you kick him in the stomach, and that only does about a quarter of his health. If he does that route, he's going to throw a rock. You're going to cut the rock, but you don't want to use blade mode. No, actually, he's going to go for a rock throw, I think, after that. But you don't want to cut that rock. You want to avoid that rock so that when he lands, he goes into a heal. Then you're going to cut his heal. Then he's going to go for a rock throw. Then you're going to use blade mode and ripper mode at the same time to give you more time to cut the rocks. Go cut his back. Again, when he's in heal mode, he'll throw rocks again, and then the fight will progress into another quick time event after that. I know you're not going to retain any of that information. It means literally nothing to you. Anyone listening to this means literally nothing to you. I know, I get it. But when the fight starts, I'll also kind of talk about what I'm doing. Now that I've talked about how it works and how I'm basically forcing Armstrong to follow a script because of a very specific set of attacks I'm doing, now you'll be able to see what I mean when I say he throws the rock, he goes into the heal. I'm going to use these attacks to force him to do whatever. So immediately starting off, final fight of the game, it's Big Armstrong, 2 heavy attacks, 1, 2, 3, 3 light attacks, dodge that, he's going to go for a second one, dodge that, 1, 2 heavy attacks, 1, 2, 3 lights, and I'm going to launch him. Bam, there's the launch. Miss the heavy on purpose to cross him up and then land behind him. Go for Blade Flurry, which is a mashing of heavy attacks. The second he stands up, dodge back, and here comes the big punch. Bam, quick time event punch time. So now we're gonna go into the the punching quick time event. This is gonna do about half his health, which means we're gonna skip the first rock throwing phase. Bam! Look how much damage that does. That's because on Revengeance difficulty, the quick time events and the parries do like so much more damage. I've seen some people be like, "This was not a Revengeance run because look at all that damage. This was clearly an easy run," and people are like, "Oh, by the way, that's another like fucking funny thing when people make fun of like say shit online and they clearly suck at the game." This was not a Revengeance run. That did too much damage to the quick time event. You're playing on easy. Alright, buddy. No, if you played Revengeance, you would know that it does more damage on Revengeance difficulty. Like, way to tell everyone that you don't play the game on any difficulty other than baby mode. Anyway, so he's going to go directly into heal. So we're going to break his heal orb, and then we're going to do the Blade Flurry to build my meter up, and then we're not going to knock him back. We're going to launch him to kind of reset his state so that we can go for another Blade Flurry to get our combo up. Then he's going to go for a rock throw. There's a trick with the rock throw here he's going to do. If you go into Ripper mode and then Blade mode, you will consume less meter than if you just went into Blade mode raw. So whenever he throws these rocks, I always go into Ripper mode and then Blade mode. And then I turn Ripper mode off like that right when I hit Armstrong. So now he's mad. He's going to immediately go back into his healing attack right here. So he's going to go, "Oh, I'm angry now, time to heal." That's such a good line. Every line Armstrong has is so fucking good. He's such a... Oh, man, I love this boss. He's such a great antagonist. Anyway, we're going to break his back crystal again, and we're going to do the Blade Flurry just for the sake of meter building, and then we're going to cancel out before the last hit to launch him so that we can do another set of Blade Flurry. That's going to build our meter up, and we need to have our meter up because he's going to throw rocks at us again, and we want to be able to go Ripper mode, Blade mode. Also, when you cut these rocks, he's going to drop healing nano paste. You want to pick those up to kind of boost your BP, if you can. So always remember to pick the healing nano paste up that drop from these rocks, because that's going to help you fulfill the BP requirement for this fight. So now we're going to cut the rocks up a few times, hit him in the head, bam, throw him into the corner. Fight's almost over. I think now, at this point, he's just going to do a couple of attacks. Actually, I think at this point he just goes into do the second quick time event, and that's going to bring him down to 0 HP, and then we're going to finish the fight. Here we go. Now he's angry. So I'm just going around to pick up the BP from the healing pods, and then bam. So now this is the second quick time event. This is the one that does a bit less damage, but his health is so low that this quick time event is going to finish him off. Bam. Look at that. 0.1%, and the fight is over. That's Armstrong. Now one more quick time event. Armstrong's over. And that's how you Armstrong with not taking any damage. That's how you no damage Armstrong. If you do the exact same thing I told you to do at the very beginning of the fight, where you do the heavy attack, 3 lights, heavy attack 3 lights, whiff the heavy, go behind him, blade flurry, blah, blah, blah. If you do all of that, like I said, sometimes he will do the quick time event that does less damage, and that will change the route a little bit, but the fight is still basically the same when you do that. So you can script Armstrong basically into never getting a chance to attack you and being forced into quick time events and forced into healing if you can bait out, if you can get him to do his quick time event at the very start of the fight and using the moves that I told you to do, or that I showed work. You know, I've done this a bunch of times. I've run this mission a bunch of times to make sure it really works. And then when I went for the single segment run, it did work clearly. You know, you can script him into not even getting a chance to fight back, which you might say is kind of cheap. But I spent like 4 hours fighting this guy and figuring out that I could do that in the first place. So I've beaten him a few times without doing the scripting like that, and the scripting just makes him a very consistent fight. And it's, you know, you know, it's not about the no, it's about the journey, not the location or whatever it's called. The journey, not the outcome. Whatever the saying is. The 4 hours of labbing Armstrong to figure out I could do that was the truly fulfilling. That really was the friends we made along the way. That was truly the Armstrong fight we had along the way, wasn't it? But anyway, so see how it says 8 minutes 16 seconds for the Armstrong fight, because all 3 of those phases count. This is why you need to take no damage in this fight, because otherwise I don't know how you're going to meet the time requirement. Like, when you're playing on Revengeance in very hard difficulty, I have no idea how you're going to meet the time requirement to beat Armstrong with those first 2 phases counting towards you. They just take so much time. So the no damage is, I think, necessary. But anyway, that's Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, every level done in a single segment. I really grew to love this game a lot more than I thought I did. I mean, I always liked this game, but I always liked this game, but I really grew to appreciate it a lot more now that I've done this run. I initially wanted to do the run because a couple years ago I did a Devil May Cry S-Rank run, and then I did my Metal Gear Solid 2 Big Boss run, and that was a lot of fun. And I was, you know, I was in the mood to do another, like, high-level run of another first one-player action game I enjoyed. And I thought about Revengeance because I hadn't played it in a really long time. Like last time I played it was on the PS3. And I thought to myself, you know, I remember Revengeance being a good game, but not being a super, like, deep game mechanically. So I could probably S-rank that game a lot faster than I could have, like, the Devil May Cry run I did. And I gotta say that while I am right that the game is much simpler than a lot of action games in a lot of ways, it makes up for it in a lot of ways very, very cleverly, very elegantly in its design. And I have a lot more appreciation for the game now than I did in the past. Having to learn how to route the game and route the fight in a way that, and route fights in a way that you never really had to do in Devil May Cry 1. Like, Devil May Cry 1 was interesting. You still had to learn how to route it, and Devil Trigger in Devil May Cry 1 became a mechanic that linked multiple fights together. And while Blade Mode kind of does that, but not really in the same way, or Ripper Mode does that, but kind of not in the same way, the way that a lot of the fights are designed to make them very difficult to not take damage in, but still give you the ability to get S ranks. And the way that some fights are really brutally designed to force you to have to do the fight either without S ranks or without kills to kind of gimp your capabilities. Because if you're going without kills, then you're not going to be able to get Ripper Mode for the whole fight, right? So like in the Japanese garden fight, a fight that is incredibly brutally designed to get the base requirements for forces you to have to go for no kills or no damage. And if you're going for no kills, you're not going to have the Ripper Mode to make a lot of the stronger enemies more difficult. But if you're going for no damage, you really have to play the fight almost perfectly with no mistakes. And that's not easy to do. It really isn't easy to do. So the game makes up for a lot of the simplicity that it has over other action games in a lot of ways, and just with its presentation, it's such a viscerally satisfying game to play. The music, the presentation, the way it integrates itself into the Metal Gear universe. It doesn't try to like ham-fist and force it too much, but the things it does do, I think it fits in with the universe very well. You can definitely tell that the people who made this game really cared, and it's a great game. It really is. It really is a great game. And Armstrong is such a fantastic villain. Every line he says is gold. The way the fights are presented, the way the music kicks in, the lyrics that have actual meaning and pertain to the characters involved in the fight. You know, they're not just cool songs. They're cool songs with a with a meaning to the. Oh shit! Why did my video freeze? Oh my god! What's what's happening to my VLC? There we go. You know, they're not just like the songs aren't just cool fights. They're cool fights that like have a like they like relate to like the character involved. You know, they have like a meaning to them. There's just a lot of small touches in this game that I feel like a lot of people don't. A lot of that are the culminate those small things about the game are why people enjoy the game, but people who don't think too much about the game might not understand that that's why they enjoy the game. Like, you ever go watch a movie or play a game and someone says, how did you like it? And you really like it, but you can't really think of any reason why you liked it. Like, yeah, it was a fun game, but why did I like it? Well, I mean, it was fun. It was cool. I enjoyed it. The music was good, you know, like that's why, like, I really like YouTube, for example, has a lot of critical analysis of people that just like talk shit about games and take the piss out of games, talk about why games are bad. But I find that a lot of the hardest and most insightful critical analysis of games is positive critical analysis, because I feel like at their best, a critic is doing their job the best when they are formulating thoughts and ideas, or not extrapolating, but what's the idea? Like, see, it's not easy to do without like really thinking about it in the past. It's hard to find the words. I guess formulating is the best word I can think of right now. But when articulating, a critic is at their best, I feel like, when they are very capably articulating what makes a good thing good and why we like that good thing. Because there's a lot of things that we like, and we don't always understand why we like it. We just know that we like it. And playing games on like really hard difficulties, I feel like it's really frustrating when you're doing it, but it also gives you an appreciation for games that if you didn't play it on the hardest difficulty, you probably would never have developed, even if you heard a critic extrapolate on why it was a good game. So, despite the fact that I came into this game thinking that it would be a relatively easy run to do compared to like Pure Platinum Bayonetta or S-Rank Devil May Cry or Pure Platinum like Wonderful 101, it was actually quite challenging, and not in a cheap way, in a way that really made me appreciate what the game has going for it. So, yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a good game. These credits go on for a while, but anyway, that's the run. I hope that anyone who watched it enjoyed it. No, I think it's pretty cool to have a run out there where, because like I said, there are so many runs out there where people just use wigs, or they use custom bodies, or they use like the Foxblade or something, and then they get an S rank, and it's like, I mean, I guess that's cool that you got the S rank, but like, come on, how hard is it to really get the S rank when you have unlimited meter? How hard is it to really get the S rank when you can just reload every save, right? You know, that's like the opposite of a challenge run. Like, beating the game with only a wooden sword, that's a challenge run, but beating the game with the Foxblade and a wig, like, come on, how hard is that really? So yeah, I'm really happy with this run, despite the fact that in the earlier levels I feel like I kind of played like crap. The later levels I feel like I pulled off well, and I'm happy with how they went. And hopefully it was somewhat entertaining to watch. Hopefully my commentary is not super grating and doesn't make anyone want to kill themselves. But I have fun talking over and kind of extrapolating on the reasons I do things. Like, you know, beating things, it's kind of like, what's the saying? Like, what's the point of being the best if you're the only one who knows it? You know, it's like, I really have fun playing these games and like doing hard runs of them, but you know, a lot of the fun for me is also explaining my thought process and explaining like how I come to the conclusions and why I play the way I do when I do the runs. So not just doing the run is fun for me, but being able to talk about the run is also a really big selling point for me. So hopefully nobody watching thinks my commentary detracted too much from the gameplay.
The break-taking program is finished, but the larger company is not.
But anyway, that's the end of the game. Skip forward a little bit, and we'll see our final game result. Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. We will see our final results. And look at that, all S ranks. And then a big new because I got my S rank completion on Armstrong. And normally when I S rank completed him, I would just like restart the game instantly to like start again. But this was like the first time I let the credits roll because, you know, it was the single segment run. And I got it completed, so I let it run through. And then here's my scores in all the other games. It's, excuse me, I'm burping a lot. I got beer effect. It's really fun in these games like Devil May Cry and stuff, going back and looking at all your old ranks. And like just looking at how you have improved as a player. I've got no easy and normal run here, but it's very interesting, you know, looking at like hard difficulty and seeing like S's and like all B's all the way through, like very hard difficulty, and like seeing like even a C rank in there somewhere. And then you go up to Revengeance difficulty and it's all S's. It's very satisfying. It's very satisfying seeing like a kind of representation of how you've improved as you've gone through the levels. Like hard difficulty is so much easier than Revengeance that I could probably S rank no problem now, but back when I did hard difficulty, I was getting B ranks, you know? So yeah, I always like these final ranking screens to show all your ranks across all your runs. They're very fun to reflect on. And then let me see, 1 minute 3 seconds. So that's the end of the run right there. The video is gonna loop right now. It's back to the beginning. So yeah, that's my commentated Metal Gear Rising Revengeance run. Thanks for anyone who stuck through it and watched. I mean, the last time I did a run like this, I did commentary over. I released November last year as well, and that was Metal Gear Solid 2. So I don't know if I'll do another commentated run anytime soon, but if I do, maybe it'll be like Metal Gear Solid 3 or something. Metal Gear Solid 3 is another game that I love, and I did a big boss run for it a long time ago, but it's, oof, that was back when I had a PS2 and not even a PS3, so I was a baby. Anyway, yeah, thanks everyone for watching.